The first couple pages, but I don't recognize who they is.
Oh, okay.
Hammond City Council Public Hearing Agenda, June 9th, 2026, 5:30 p.m. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Present.
Councilman Andrews.
Present.
Councilman Wells. Present. Councilman Leon.
Present.
Councilman Divatario.
Present.
Public hearing item number 1.
An ordinance to approve a rezoning by Tamika Dillon to rezone 1605 West Church Street from RM2 to MX-N for her massage business, body maintenance, located in District 4. The Planning and Zoning Commission, hearing no opposition, recommends adoption. 3-0. Charles?
As introduced at the last council meeting, this is a request to rezone the property to open the massage business. This is for a licensed massage therapist. We have a representative here tonight to answer any questions that the council or the public may have.
Just give us your name and city, please.
Tamika Dillon, Hammond, Louisiana.
Okay. Anyone have any questions for Ms. Dillon? Could you step to the podium, direct your questions to me, please, sir. Your name and city.
My name's Jesse Jones. I live at 1301 West Church Street. And I know this property was once a sign shop many years ago. And since the sign on the property didn't show what the proposed business was going to be,
Yes, sir.
I didn't have any idea what it was till I got here today, found out. And I have some questions about parking. I got questions about times of operation and that type of thing that will affect the community.
Okay.
Thank you. That's actually my district. How's the parking going to work over there, Ms. Tamika? What are y'all planning on doing with employees and everything else?
With the parking, the employees park on the front side of the building and clients park in the middle. We only have one client an hour.
Okay.
Nobody is there. It's never like 2 or 3 clients at a time.
Okay.
So the parking is no problem at all.
Okay, times of operation.
Time of operation is from 8 in the morning to about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening.
Okay.
Okay, that answered my question.
Okay.
I didn't know what time,
Yeah.
I didn't know. Some places have
All hours, yeah.
businesses and operate till late at night.
No,
Yeah.
the latest we're in there is at 7, and that's the latest.
Thank you.
Any other questions or concerns? Thank you. Public hearing item number 2.
An ordinance to approve a major subdivision by Sergio Mesa at 700 and 702 East Thomas Street, 105 South Chestnut Street, 711 East Morris Avenue, located in District 1. The Planning and Zoning Commission, hearing no opposition, recommends adoption. 3-0. Charles Barsher.
Again, as I introduced at the last council meeting, to be clear, when we talk about major and minor subdivision, we're often talking about just a division of the property itself. We're not talking about a residential subdivision coming in. So because this involves 3 different lots, it's what we refer to as a major subdivision. And we have a representative here tonight to talk to the council and the public and answer any questions they might have.
Your name and city, sir.
Sergio Mesa, Hammond, Louisiana.
Okay. Anyone from the council have any questions for Mr. Mesa?
I'll just state that I've had a couple people, because although this is
Yes.
District 1, they are across the street is District 2. A lot of people have asked, because they see the sign, they see major subdivision, so they think it's about to be a big, giant subdivision with lots of houses. And as soon as I tell them what you've proposed and basically removing lot lines because you have an abandoned right-of-way, everyone that I've told that to said, oh, okay, no problem whatsoever. One question I got, and I did talk to you before, is it going to be, triplexes and big apartment buildings? And then I didn't ask you this, but someone said tiny homes, so you're not building tiny homes?
Yeah, no
Okay.
tiny homes. We really just want to be able to bring back on the vacant lots or something that maybe need to be demoed. Would be a cottage style, something that fits in the downtown area. And then this is already zoned for multifamily, but not every lot is able to house more than one. improvement, but the sizes of the lots that are going to allow that, I would like to do the accessory apartment that's allowed within the zoning. So not asking for anything that's already in the rules.
Thank you.
And I'll put it on the record as well. I received several calls, I would say, about the same thing, dealing with the wording. But once I explained to the person I was talking to on the phone, they understood what was about to take place. So, is there anyone else on this item? Thank you. Public hearing item number 3.
An ordinance to approve an expanded conditional use by Laquetta Hills at 110 Alexander Road to allow for a mobile home in District 1. The Planning and Zoning Commission, hearing no opposition, recommends adoption 3-0. Charles Barsher.
This was also introduced at the last council meeting, and we have a representative here tonight to answer any questions that the council or the public may have.
And your name and city, please.
Laquetta Hills, Hammond.
Okay, is there anything you would like to say, Ms. Hill? I know we've had conversation on this, and I'll say this here before she speaks. She is here for the public hearings part of this, but she will have to leave to get back to work. If there's anything you want to...
Just asking for a request to move my mobile home. I spoke to my neighbors, as none of them have a problem with it, and there are other mobile homes in the area also, in the neighborhood.
And I'll also state I haven't received any questions or concerns from anyone in that area on this particular item. Anyone else from the council have any questions? Thank you. All right. Public hearing item number 4.
An ordinance to adopt the City of Hammond's budget for fiscal year 2026-2027.
I'll just make a brief comment. We did attach a list of proposed amendments that came out of the budget work session on May 29th. If it's not listed here, it's because it's a project that's covered under FY26 funding. We have had a couple of requests from some council members, and we're working on setting up meetings with them to discuss some projects in their district. So this might change a little bit ahead of the final adoption of the budget at the next council meeting.
Okay. All right. Well, what I'm going to do is table this item until our next meeting due to the pending meeting that you have scheduled with the councilmen to further discuss items in their district.
Yes, it's online currently. Yes, it's hyperlinked to the agenda, and when this is finalized, it'll also be hyperlinked to the agenda.
All right. Hammond City Council regular session agenda, June 9th, 2026, 5:38 p.m. Roll call, please.
Councilman Wells.
Here.
Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Councilman Andrews.
Present.
Councilman Leon. Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Present.
Stand for our prayer, please. Eternal Father, we thank you on this day. We give you glory, we give you honor, we give you praise, we give you thanks just for who you are. Thanking you for another day on this journey. Thanking you for help and strength in our body. Thanking you, Father God, that we live in a country where we can freely call upon your name. Father God, I ask that you continue to bless our city, state, and our city, state, and country leaders. Continue to bless this council. Continue to give them strength. Continue to bless the districts in which they serve. I ask that you continue to bless our mayor, city administration, that you continue to cover our fire department and our city police as they protect and serve us. We thank you, Father God, that everything this evening will be done decent, order, pleasing in your sight, where you will get all the glory, all the honor, and all the praise because it all belongs to you. And we just thank you for the opportunity to be able to serve and be able to have breath in our body. We give you glory, honor, praise, and thanks for your darling Son, Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen. At this time, I ask that all veterans and active military please render the proper salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. At this time, I call for an approval of our May 26 minutes, please.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Wells.
Stein.
Councilman Leon. Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Councilman Andrews.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
At this time, we'll have a presentation from Mr. Joe Thomas from the Tangipahoa Parish. Mr. Thomas, I want to thank you for coming out to address the council.
No, absolutely. Thank you for having us, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Chairman, and council members. I want to hand out a flyer if I could. I spoke to the chairman prior to. I need 45 seconds on something that's very important to all of us. Regarding the upcoming 4-meal village that we have regarding our health unit. We have 2 health units, one in Amite and one in Hammond. The Hammond location's off Club Deluxe, which provides immunizations to children, elderly, no cost. This tax also does all of our prenatal, WIC support, restaurant sanitation inspections, sewer inspections. So it's very, very important that we get this renewed on the June 27th ballot. It's been on the books roughly 27 years, so we've been very fortunate. But it's, again, important to all communities that we can push this information out and the importance of this renewal. I was asked to come speak and give an overview of our overlay program and explain how our council chooses our streets outside of municipalities. We do support the municipalities. We've always supported the municipalities. And also, I think if you'll bear with me, I want to give some history of what funds that, because I think that's the most important key to how we at TPG operate, because I know you guys operate differently, AMED operates differently. So parish as a whole has a 1-cent sales tax, parish-wide. That's been on the books since roughly '88. They tried to pass it several times. It failed. So our council at the time got a bunch of business leaders together and said, okay, what do we do? Those of you that lived here, the roads were horrible. The lights were literally cut off at the courthouse. So they come up with this plan. Let's ask for a 1-cent sales tax. We're 3/4 of that penny. And I'm looking at the audience too, because I think it's important for everyone. 3/4 of that penny is dedicated to road and bridges. 1/4 of the penny is dedicated to the general fund. So I know general fund's a bad word. What does that fund? It funds our courthouse. It funds here, the 7th Ward Marshal gets a percentage, the DA's office, the clerk of court, anything that's outside of road and bridge, housing. So that penny is that 1/4 of a penny, is very small. Now, it has grown tremendously over the years, but also if you look at the needs of agencies that support the community, that those needs with the cost of living has also grown. So give you an idea, roughly, last year in 2025, that 1 penny, the 3/4 of the penny roughly raised, let's say, $35 million. That $35 million was $3.5 million was done by remote sellers. That's your Amazons, anything you order online. So those big boys are starting to pay. Then about 3.9 Department of Motor Vehicles. So that's anyone in the parish that buys a car. And that doesn't mean that car was purchased in the parish. Wherever you purchase a vehicle and you register it at, that's where you pay the sales tax. So if you go to New Orleans and you're a Hammond resident, you're paying the Hammond sales tax and it's remitted back to the parish or municipalities. So it's very important to know where these roads and what our budget is. So I looked up some things. Hammond City is roughly 15 to 17% of our population, parish-wide. I will tell you, we have a great relationship with the city of Hammond, as we do all of our communities, because it's important. And there's no one in this room could say, y'all, that Hammond is not the driving force. I mean, people throughout the parish drive here, they shop here. I mean, Hammond is the economic development driving force of Tangipahoa Parish. There's no doubt about that. So what have we done? What has our team done with your team? Since 2016, we have paved roughly 32 miles of roads within the city of Hammond. That's
How long was that? You said 32 miles?
32 miles of roads within the city of Hammond.
And how long? Like, I'm saying,
Since
in 1 year?
Since 2016.
Oh, since
32
2016.
miles.
Okay,
32
okay.
miles of road
Okay.
since 16.
16.
So we've done more for the city, which we want to do. Again, it is a great partnership. There's no doubt about that. In the city than we've done anywhere else. I will tell you, So we back up. Out of that 34 million, we budget roughly 4 to 5 million, depending on sales tax. We meet on it monthly on the sales tax report, which is usually 2 months behind those numbers. We budget roughly 4 to 5 million a year in overlay. That is not counting preservation work. I'm strictly talking overlay. So a lot of people get confused when they hear, oh, you're only giving 4 million to roads. No, we're talking overlay and asphalt roads. We do not do concrete roads in the parish. We have asphalt roads. So what we started noticing 4 years ago was the prices of the quantities. We bid it by quantities, not by the actual road. We bid the quantities of asphalt. Our council would get a bigger bang for our buck and our citizens if we overlaid every other year. So basically our quantities were doubling, so we were getting a better price for those quantities. We could get an extra mile of road, sometimes even over, by doing that. So now our contract went from $4 million contract to an $8 million contract every other year. However, we would do $1 million in preservation work throughout the parish, meaning if a road wasn't quite ready for overlaying, we would preserve that road. So I'm saying a lot of numbers, but it's very important to realize. So how do we pick our roads? How does our council pick our roads? First and foremost, our council picks our roads. We have a system called Violytics. It is on, I want to say 4 or 5 of our vehicles. Our road and bridge, as they drive, there's a computer program that is grading every road. It's grading it from the number of potholes, the number of cracks. It's grading it by, it will tell me if there's a stop sign down, if there's a sign that's dirty, if there's a limb in the way of the vision of the sign. And it spits out a report, 1 through 5. And it tells you what is your worst roads. Which roads basically need overlaying first based on the analytics of that computer software that's running. So our council, as you, will get political calls, as you should. That's your job, to represent the community, and say, hey, we want to overlay, I'll use my street, Oak Hollow, for instance. That council member will say, let me look at the Violytics, and they will come to us, and we'll show them the Violytics, hey, where's this road grade? And that's how they pick the roads they want to overlay in their district. We try to split the money, depending on certain needs, between our 10 council members. We have, believe it or not, council members that have gravel roads, and their constituents do not want those gravel roads paved because it's going to cause speeders. So you can imagine the difference in the north end of the parish versus District 10 on the south end. So we take those 10 council members' wish list, so to speak, and then we run it through Violytics, and it gives them the information to go back to their constituents, say, hey, yes, we're getting it on the overlay. We're going to start changing cross drains a year out, doing all the culvert work a year out. Then we'll overlay the following so you have time for those cross drains to settle. Or B, hey, we can preserve this road. A lot of times in preservation, they're going to think it's asphalt, but it's not re-asphalted. It looks new, and basically it seals all your cracks. Or it's not scoring where it needs to be. What are your concerns? So it gives the council, the parish council members, some ammo or to basically answer the question correctly versus, oh, I want to pave this road when the road is not meeting the scores of the Violytics program. So then we come down. They have their list of roads. The parish president keeps some money back for some roads that he wants to do. And then we go out for bid. Next year, we are looking, with sales tax numbers the way they are, with more remote sellers coming online, we are looking at possibly doing a $10 million in 26 overlay contract. Again, I want to state, we're only talking about that 1 penny. Now, there's roads that you could see getting overlaid a lot on Councilman Mayhew's district, which is kind of that pumpkin center. It bleeds into the city. It could be the RPC program, another program that'll come in and basically take our crash data and say, hey, where are crashes happening? Is it a road concern? What are the concerns? Does the road need widening? Are the mailboxes historically too close to the shoulder? And they'll replace all the mailboxes. So there's other federal programs that you will see that feed into that overlay. So if we have a road, I'll use my road as an example, Oak Hollow, that in 2 years it can get paved by the feds, we're going to take it off the 1-year list, because why use parish dollars if we can push that road back 12 months and let the feds pay for it, and then we put those quantities that were for that road towards another project. And I will definitely take questions at the end of this. So I want to say some things we've partnered with you guys, and it has been a great partnership. Minnesota Park was one last year. It was a nightmare. Those of you know, Christmas season's coming up. Y'all were jumping through hoops. Our team was seeing how we could help. We don't do concrete roads. We don't have a contractor for concrete roads. So it was easy for us. Let's give whatever that would cost an overlay and some other things. So we graciously got with the mayor and gave $225,000 or $250,000 towards that project to help that move along. Medline is one, the roundabout that's going at Industrial and 190. We're working closely. You guys own some property that it looks like we're going to need and things like that. Numerous sidewalk projects that we do. There was a bathroom that needed to be built. We recognize the importance of that airport to us, to you guys, to everyone. So the mayor asked, and we gave $30,000. Our guys built a bathroom there for I think it would be the west side. Recycle. We had a lot of recycle asphalt, so we sent 40 loads of recycle to help with certain parking lots. So there is a great relationship with my manager at Pleasant Ridge, the city manager, and you guys, and we want to keep that relationship. So I know there's a lot of confusion on overlay. How does it work? What does the parish do? I would say I wish overlay was the only thing we do for all of our cities, but it's not. We're going to be there. And we're going to help any way we can, whether it's the transit system. I mean, you name it. We talk constantly on different things, whether it's barricades, light plants for every issue that we have downtown. So I hope I answered your questions on overlay, and I know there's going to be a lot of them, and I will gladly take them.
I want to say thank you for the Minnesota Park. That was a $600,000 project. Y'all put in $250,000, and we were able to move that thing in and get it done before Christmas, so that was big. And also today at Regional Planning Commission in New Orleans, we did receive an amendment pushing $8 million for the roundabout on Industrial and 190, so that should happen in 2028.
I have one question for you, Mr. Thomas. I noticed the overlay is done every other year, so 27 will be the year.
Yes, sir. We will start overlaying next year again, and we're hoping that contract again will be roughly around a $10 million contract.
And your fiscal year starts January.
January, correct. Our fiscal year starts January. We're a calendar year.
Now, my other part to that is, what was the name of the system that you guys use to go down the streets?
Biolytics.
Okay. So with that, I know that in the past we reached out to the parish council person in our area, and we provided streets that needed to be done. Is there any way that if we provide that information that we could get a copy of that report that comes back so we could see? That way we'll be able to provide information to constituents on why this road didn't get chosen in this round to be.
Yeah, absolutely, and we would gladly partner with that. We pay for that program, Mr. Chairman, by the mileage of roads that we're going to analyze, basically by the mileage of the outside of the municipality's road there. I want to say we have already partnered with one municipality to do those roads. We could gladly, I could put our IT guy in touch with your team and see, hey, what would that influence cost if you were to piggyback off of our license instead of going out getting your own, which would cost significantly, if we wanted to add what few miles you guys have into our system. But absolutely. And there may be a few city roads, that are already in that system due to part of that road being parish and part of it being city. They're not going to stop at the city line. So when they run Biolytics, for example, I'll use Magazine, they run the whole magazine to capture. They're not going to stop at what's perceived to be the city line. And I'm using Magazine because we just did some ditch work we were working on. I think Mr. Jackson may have spoke to me about that. So yeah, absolutely.
I think where my concerns are and questions and want to, get it straight finally is the process. I know you said, notify them, but, if it's every other year, is there a cutoff time frame to submit the roads? Do you already have a list of them already planned for, what you said, 27 they're going to start doing them? Or
January, correct. This one in January.
Okay, so I'm sure y'all have the roads already picked out right now. And so the process where we've been having for the last 6 years is that we turn them in and it seems like they don't go anywhere. So like, I want to figure out what the actual process is, a date to have them in by. If it's fail, pass, possibility, we're going to get it on. It's not, we don't have the money for this year to do this road, so we could tell the people, this is not getting done this year, or it does not even, it's not even classified,
Right, you want the
it doesn't even grade where there's 10 other roads that are more priority than your road. So the communication has kind of been not there. And so not saying y'all, it's just that, begin to mix a story. Oh, just send in the roads to the administration and then they'll get it to the council or whatever. And it seems like it's the same thing every year. So I just want to get more of a clear, black and white, answer just, on paper or whatnot, to where we can say, okay, we got to have these roads submitted for review by a certain time. And if they work, then great. If not, we'll put them on the next year and so forth, and a schedule of a road, what y'all doing in the city of Hammond.
No, absolutely, and I can get you the cutoff time, Sam. I will tell you, by bidding quantities, it gives us leeway. Where in the old bids, we would name the roads and the length. And Devon, you may remember that when you were with us. We got away from that because whenever you would want to do a change, well, then your public bid law, you'd have to start all over. So we started bidding quantity. So I will get those dates to you. I don't know your process of turning that in. I will tell you, talk to those councilmen, those parish councilmen, that road will be in. That's an important step. And I don't know y'all's process in-house of the roads you pave. I don't know if you pave or you do your own.
Well, we do the concrete work, and we normally have been told since day one that the parish does asphalt, which that makes sense. Why would we do them if y'all get the
Right.
bigger
And there could
contract
be
and
some
then
roads-
get better pricing?
We have municipalities that actually will say, hey, when you bid your contract, can you put this road or XYZ roads in our municipality in your contract, and we'll pay for it because it's cheaper for them to fall under our contract, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. So we have municipalities that do that. That'll come to us and say, hey, I know this road, you got your councilman, it's not a priority because he has outside the municipality that's rating higher. Is there any way we can piggyback on your contract? So we'll say, yeah, let's up our quantities of what those quantities are. So our guys will go out and do all the measurements and say, these quantities to add this road are X. And we plug that into the contract and we do it, and it saves those municipalities money. So I would say the parish isn't the only way. It is a great resource, and we want to be a resource, not punting it. Yeah. We want to be a resource. We are a resource. We are a partner. We've always been a partner. But if there's something that's a higher priority for you in your area, then tell us, and we'll go out and measure that road and tell you what the quantities are and give you what that price will be to piggyback versus getting your own contract. Because you're not having to remobilize. The money in asphalt, and I see Spangler's here, a lot of it is the remobilization, and that's what we reduce by doing large quantity contracts.
What's the cutoff?
I will get that, Pete, from our
Because we just
the work team.
pulled up a list of roads here of late.
We have not bid next year. So if there is a road you want to do and piggyback on, that's not too.
So you don't have set up for 27, you don't have the roads right now that y'all going to definitely do right
We have
now.
the roads that we're going to do.
Okay.
But we have not went out for bid on those quantities.
Yeah.
So if we need to add quantities, when we type up that
Yeah.
bid to go out, we can still do that.
So you'll have your roads, you put them out for bid.
And you may have some roads,
Yeah.
but I do not have that list. I am going to forward you all the 32 miles of roads so
Yeah.
you guys have that and can keep up what's been done in your district, because I do know that's important to your constituents. But also,
So-
again, if you want to piggyback, that is not too late. If you say, hey, I'm going to set aside $30,000 or $100,000 to do these roads, and you guys get the votes to do it, we are not opposed to piggybacking that on our upcoming contract that will go out for bid next year, early next year.
So your bid comes in low, good, and you have extra money, then y'all go back out
Yes,
and
we
get
will.
them.
And
try to-
asphalt prices are, yes.
Yeah,
we
all
can
over the
add,
place.
yes.
Okay, or cut back
Or
if some
cut
reason
back.
why.
Absolutely, we have cut back historically. But yes, but with sales tax the way it is, our goal is 10 million next year.
Anyone else have any questions for Mr. Thomas?
Waiting on District 3, I know it's coming.
Yeah, I was hoping somebody asked you the question, but they didn't ask. What type of contract do the parish and the city have? Because this is what I've been hearing. everything been a handshake with Mr. Gordon Burgess and Mason Foster. And I think they deceased. To my knowledge, I know Mason Foster ain't dead, but I know Gordon Burgess dead. And I'm saying this for a reason, because they said that contract was done with a handshake. And so the problem that I'm having now, and we're working on the budget right now, everybody was talking about roads. We need to get this road done, we need to get that road done. But nobody never said what type of contract the city and the parish have in place as of right now.
Zero, and I do not know the arrangement that was done with Mayor Foster and President Burgess. Every time that we add roads or we do a major project for a municipality, we do a cooperative endeavor agreement just so it's cleaner with the auditors. Basically, if you were to cut us a $150,000 check for a road, when we deposit that, I need a contract so when our audit's done, so they know what that money's for. So there's no, I can't speak of the past, Devon, I could speak on how we operate now.
So we would
It's not,
contract,
and it's with anything, with the airport, with certain things, we'll do a cooperative endeavor. With any, I think we have one for the Medline project.
we would contract with the piggyback.
Yeah, and it's quick. I mean, we knock those out constantly with municipalities on certain, anytime there's money exchange, we're going to do a cooperative endeavor.
I think Carly knew the conversation between Mason and Gordon Burgess. It was about the tax and going after the tax, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, I asked Mason at a baseball game because I had heard that the parish is supposed to do our roads. That's what we've always kind of been told, and I know that that's not what you guys say. And it was the conversation was told that when this tax came up, the city supported it and didn't put their own tax in because there was a deal that the parish would do our roads. That, I mean, again, that's
Yeah, and the city, you pay that tax anyway, so it's not like the city of Hammond citizens, those 16,000 or whatever it is, 24,000, I think, citizens, they're not exempt. They pay that 1 cent penny, no matter if they shop in Amite, Independence, or the city of Hammond.
That's the point, right, is that the parish is receiving a very large amount of sales tax dollars from revenue that's generated in the city of Hammond.
I think that's a great way to look because you see the mall and things like that, Councilwoman Gonzalez, but when you look overall at the parish, and I can get those numbers, you would be amazed at it's not the largest revenue, especially with online shopping right now, especially Amazon.
I looked at this when we were talking about the sheriff's tax, and it was a lot, Joe. It really was.
Yeah, but it's not, we couldn't come in, it would not be fair to our citizens that drive here to shop to say we're going to dedicate, I wish we could do every road for it. Look, it's like a garbage contract. If we could step up and say, hey, guys, we're going to do one parish-wide garbage contract, it's going to save everybody money, and everyone will know, one, who to call operationally, we would love to do it. I would love to say, let's pave every street in the parish under one contract, and the parish funded. It's just, can't.
I guess what it is too, though, is that
There's options to it. We're a teammate, we're a partner, we're not
I guess another thing is
parish
that,
against the city of
there's
Hammond.
probably a lot more traffic, obviously, going through the Hammond area and wear and tear on the roads as far as somewhere north when they may have 5,000 or 2,000 population. They may have 10 cars that pass
Right.
the road as opposed to, 30,000 cars, 40,000 cars a day on certain roads. And so what I'm getting at is there's a lot more wear and tear on some of the areas in Hammond that where, it probably needs to be, focused. And that is your shining light of the parish is Hammond to
100%.
draw more
And that's
people
why we
to the
get-
parish.
That's why we do more for
yeah,
the city than
exactly.
any other municipality. I will kick that back and say of the 140,000 citizens in the parish, though, if they weren't shopping in Hammond, that would be detrimental to everyone. So you need those outside that 24,000 residents to shop in Hammond
But those people,
for your 2 pennies.
Those people shop in Hammond because Hammond has nice things, bringing other
Right.
people outside of Hammond to grow it, to
Well, I
attract
agree.
the people
Well,
all over
yeah,
the parish. So it
economic-
has to show itself off
Economic
in a
development
nice
doesn't
way.
go where there's two interstates that cross. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
but it has to show nice where other people
Right.
grow to continue. So all the parish comes.
right. But we've definitely stepped up. And if you ask and we can do it, we're going to tell you we can do it. We're not going to tell you, oh, I don't know. We're going to give you an answer, and that's how it's always been.
So real quick, I want to ask one other thing. So so if I have, let's say, 5 roads that are been in my district that I'm just using that number 5. Where do we send it to? Who do we email to? Who do we tell? And then where we go from there? Where does the response go?
I would say to email the councilman that those roads are in, the parish councilman, and CC myself and whoever you set up in your internal controls within your team.
Yeah.
of who needs to know it for visibility. We operate, Councilman, where I don't want you talking to multiple, not you personally, anyone, talking to multiple staff members about the same problem. And next thing you know, I've got 5 team members working on the same problem that one person can handle, because now my assets are spread thin. So I would say email that parish councilman, and then whoever you select from your team, and then by all means CC me, and I can at least have some visibility to follow up with our parish councilman to say, hey, here's the Violytics, here's where we are.
Okay.
Yeah, Joe, and of course, we've talked about this, but there's probably 4 or 5 what I would call access points to the university that are just heavily used.
Oh, absolutely.
And, you know, there has to be some consideration that is a little, those points are a little bit different than the rest of the parish. And of course, as a city and as a parish, without the university, we would look very different.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why it's important for the communication flow to ask us, put it in writing to us, it's how we operate, and let's see what we can do. If it makes sense, we're going to do it. That's us, that's our team. So if it makes sense, I don't care what the political rep, we're going to do it. I just need to know about it. I need to know the request.
So when I first got in office, I didn't know nothing about the roads, and we're talking about 7.5 years ago. And y'all had some streets on there, and this is what I'm learning. Not so much as you. Let me say this here. The parish had some streets on there for the city of Hammond that they was gonna do. But what I'm learning now, just because you see it on paper, that don't mean it's gonna happen. And so the problem that, and I'm not saying you now, so, and be careful how you answer, because I'm going to bring the paper back up, and honestly.
We are open book. Please ask.
Yeah, okay, I understand it, but I'm just saying, you can't sit here and say, we didn't do this or we did do that, because what I'm saying is, if I go back 7 years and look at some of the roads that they had on the list to do, they didn't get done.
Is that, I'm going to ask which list you're talking about, Councilman, because if it is the list that's going out, and we were talking 7 years, we weren't bidding quantity 7 years. So you did have a road list 7 years ago, because that's probably 6 years ago is when we transitioned to say, hey, for auditor purposes, let's quit naming roads and let's bid quantities in case we want to shift roads around. I would have to see that list, who developed that list, to answer that question for you. If it is a list that was going out for bid, those roads, that means those dollars were set aside and those roads were done. If it was a list that was preliminary sent around via email, I cannot answer that. And I will tell you, that is a highly possibility. I don't know what list you're talking about.
Yeah, okay, well.
But I can give you the quantities in the list that's final, and you gladly to watch our council meetings, because it's always discussed the time we go out for bid.
Yeah, okay.
And look, I will say, the city can donate a road to us, and we'll gladly take that asset. We'll take the airport if you want to give it to us.
Yeah, it's no problem. So I'm saying this here, this is what we're dealing with. And it was stated before that it was a handshake deal. But handshake deals, I noticed that it don't work well with me. So the city of Hammond, and it looked like everybody trying to avoid the question, we need to have something in writing. Either the parish going to do the road or the city going to do the road, because what's going on with the taxes, just like this paper you just threw before us right now, you know, a 4 mil tax renewal. So I'm sitting here seeing this here, and I'm not going to say y'all don't do great work. You know, everybody stand up there, and this is what I noticed. Everybody say they do great work, but the city of Hammond do not have a partnership with the parish in writing.
Once you reach, if there's a money exchange, council member.
He's not saying a money
Yeah,
exchange.
if,
He's saying y'all do.
tell
the
me
roads.
which partnership you want right now. If there's a money exchange and we're going to do a road, or we're going to do a project, whatever that project may be, and there is cost involved, we are going to have a cooperative endeavor. That's how we operate. It's the only way we operate. I can't speak on the past pre to 2016, but legislative auditor and our auditor, they don't operate by handshake agreement. So I can't speak prior to 2016.
Well, it's clear what you said, what steps we need to take, but we definitely would like to piggyback, because that's what we do with drainage and sewer and whatever we can do. We get a lot of jobs out there to get under one contract so we can get cheaper prices. So to piggyback off of you, is actually going to initiate the contract. So I see
I
what
mean,
you're
if
saying.
you're asking, and I'll use this, we go and we're glad to do it because we know the value of the airport. If our team is spraying the fence at the airport, chemicals to keep if you say, hey, if you're doing something in the city, we want to contract you, you tell us. We're going to do what you need to do for your internal controls and ours. It's a great working relationship with the guys that do the work. And I will tell you, our foremen and our guys that do the work that's outside of that AMET office have a great relationship with your team when something needs to be done.
Okay, well, this was going on. Last year, y'all did Pine Street in District 3.
Okay, I don't have that in front of me.
I know, no, I'm not asking you to answer, but I'm saying you did Pine Street, and somebody dropped the ball, and this the biggest issue that I have. Every time we get a street done, now the street is being cut up. And so what I'm saying is, I know y'all have nothing to do with it. It might be a city issue. I don't know. But what I'm saying is we just did Pine Street. And if everybody ride over there, they just built 3 new houses on Pine Street. So in the process of building those new houses on Pine Street, now the street been cut up. And so now, I'm going to say probably one of the shortest streets in Hammond in District 3 that was done. And now I just heard you say how these streets was picked. And I have another street, if you go on Gary Street, and very low traffic. Maybe 10 houses on Gary Street. This is what I'm going by, and I'm talking about that list. This the list that I saw. So I reached out to Mr. Lionel Wells, and I asked him how this street get picked. He couldn't give me a clear answer. And now I'm saying this here. I went to the resident, and I asked him, tell me what's wrong with this street. Tell me something that I don't see that y'all see. Wasn't nothing wrong with the street. Everybody on that street said wasn't nothing wrong with it. And so that's what I'm looking at, because as of right now, you said a lot, but the problem that we're having, we're in a budget now. You all going into a budget in 2027.
Correct.
And so what the councilmen don't see, we're not about to get a road done right now. I'm talking about next month. Month after next. As of right now, y'all doing four streets that I see, and all these streets in the parish. Ain't none of them in the city limits of Hammond.
Well, we're not doing any streets right now unless it's preservation work because we're in an off year for overlay. So we will bid our overlay project early in January, February for the 27th, for next year, for this coming year. So we're not doing, our budget year is calendar year, so we're not doing any overlay this year. You may see preservation work going on this year, or you could see, if it was in the Safe Streets grant or RPC, you could see some possible roads like that. But I'm speaking of the funding that we use to do municipality streets of the 1 cent sales tax. That there is no overlay going on right now in 2026. We do every other year because, again, we bid quantities, and the larger the contract, the cheaper the prices we're getting, so we can do more bang. We get more bang for our buck.
I think.
But I will gladly sit down with you and look at that, and whatever you need. I'm not in the business of choosing what roads you guys choose. That's your business, and you tell us, and you tell our council member. The council member, we talk to our council every day. If they want to do a road and Violytics meets it, then we're going to do the road. It's simple. I can't speak. I'm not trying to put you off, Devon, by any means, Councilman. I can't speak to prior to 2016. But that's how we do it. If you send me an email and say, hey, I want to look at this road, I'll gladly, as long as you CC that council member, because I'm not going to go behind one of my 10 council members back, and I'm not getting caught in that. We've never operated that way, and we're not going to do it. If that council member says, hey, I want to do this road, and it meets Violytics, it's his constituents as well. Mr. Lionel's constituents are the same as yours. So hopefully we could be on the same page, and we're going to make that happen.
Oh, no, it ain't no problem, but
I don't know how that particular road was done, but I can tell you, if it's getting done now, there's no overlay going on in the city of Hammond that's funded by the parish.
I think it was already done, huh? That's not getting done right now. It's on Pine, huh?
Yeah, they done it already.
That's what I thought, yeah.
I do want to touch on one thing, Councilman. You said it's very important. There was a certain street that was done, and then I think there was a sewer grant that come through a year later or whatever, and the road got torn up. I would ask within your team that if you know you have a project coming, that you tell us, hey, I know the Violytics meet it, let's push this project back. You're not going to lose the project, but get the sewer and water, whatever needs to be done on that road, get it done before we go overlay it, and then we're dealing with a brand-new road that's tore up.
Well, I don't think he even know. I mean, Divine, did you know that that road was getting done, or it was just done, right?
I had no clue.
That's what I say. A lot of times, that's what I think. It's nothing about you, Joe, but I think a lot of times some of these roads that may get done may not really have as much wear and tear as some of the other ones, and it may be shorter, and they don't really have no rhyme or reason. So that's why we're just trying to get a good understanding
our
on
team
what,
sends
just
everyone
why
this
was
road.
that. There may be something they did it for a reason we have no idea, and it makes sense, but we don't
We need
know.
to communicate better with that
Yeah.
to everyone, especially if you have a sewer water project. We do not want a new road torn up. It's not fair to these people sitting in the audience.
Well, I'm going to say this here, Mr. Joe. I appreciate you coming, and I'm still not happy. And I guess, and I'm not a hard person to please, but thank you for your time that you gave us, but the city itself need to do something better, because we just had a lady in here during the budget meeting talking about a street by Holy Ghost and how bad it is, and yet the mayor, the council person, nobody could truly give her a good answer on when the street gonna get done. And so this is what I noticed too, and it's not have nothing to do with you. A lot of asphalt streets are being changed in certain areas in Hammond. It's not being changed everywhere. So be exact, I got one on the list now as we speak. So we're gonna sit here and study, add this concrete, which costs more than asphalt. Now we're gonna have a real issue on our hands. So that's what I'm trying to get to. Exactly, we yet to pinpoint, how could we get a street done? Just simple as that. How could we get a street done? And I'm gonna say it again, because I heard you mention that 2 times. And Mr. Wells, yes, he's the parish councilman in District 3. I done went to him. Andrew done went to him. Sam done went to him. And God knows there's nothing against him. But yet, we're not getting the streets done. Just point blank, I don't know when y'all come over to 1 year to 2 years, and we all so quiet right now, but I can't be quiet because the problem is the people in the District 3 asking me, man, you said they were gonna do this road next year. I said, no. I told you I'm gonna let Mr. Wells know. Correct. So I ain't tell you I told you I'm gonna get the road done next year. And so that's the problem we're having, and it don't affect you. It don't affect the mayor. It affect me in District 3. So let me talk about District 3.
I would say it affects all of us because it is our constituents. I don't, that's just the way I operate. I don't say that's your constituent. It's everybody's constituent. So I'm not drawing boundary lines. Our team don't operate that way, council member. So if we can do it, I can't speak for Councilman Wells, Parish Councilman Wells. I don't know what his priorities were at that time, but we could sit down and talk about it. And it needs to be an email to everyone, again, and we could say, hey, or it could be where if it's a priority for you, you say, hey, I'm going to set some money aside. Can we piggyback off your contract? Parish Councilman Wells, I know this road's not one of your priorities because of your large district. It's a priority for me and my constituents. So how can we work this together? There's multiple funding sources. Again, I'm speaking on the 1 penny because it's important. That's what we use for municipalities. And we'll do that. Mr. Lionel will sit down with us. We may not get the answer we like, but at least it gives you the ammunition to come back and say, hey, Mr. Mayor, or to my other fellow council members, I need this road done. Joe, how much is it going to cost? Can your team go out and look at the quantities, what they are, and how much would it cost me to piggyback? I mean, if you're talking a short road, it could be 30 grand, who knows? And it's minuscule in the overall budget of things. So there's multiple ways to, I guess you'd say, skin the cat, if that makes sense. But we're not going to just say, it's everybody's constituents. That's just how we operate.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Joe. That's it from me.
Excuse me, anyone else?
Thank you, Joe.
Mr. Thomas, I want to thank you for your time. You answered some questions and gave us some things to consider and think about. I do appreciate that. Thank you. Final adoption of ordinance number 1.
Final adoption of an ordinance to approve a rezoning by Tamika Dillon to rezone 1605 West Church Street from RM-2 to MX-N for her massage business, body maintenance, located in District 4. The Planning and Zoning Commission, hearing no opposition, recommends adoption 3-0.
We would ask for the council's favorable consideration.
All right. Is there anyone from the public that have any questions or concerns on this item? Anyone from the council? Pleasure of the council.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Councilman Andrews.
Aye.
Councilman Wells.
Aye.
Councilman Leon.
Thank you, Ms. Dillon.
Congratulations. Don't be parking the cars all over the road now, all right?
Final adoption of ordinance number 2.
Final adoption of an ordinance to approve a major subdivision by Sergio Mesa, at 700 and 702 East Thomas Street, 105 South Chestnut Street, and 711 East Morris Avenue, located in District 1. The Planning and Zoning Commission, hearing no opposition, recommends adoption 3-0.
Again, we would ask for the council's favorable consideration.
Is there anyone from the public that have any questions or concerns on this item? Anyone from the council? I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Wells.
Aye.
Councilman Divatario. Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilman Andrews.
Aye.
Councilman Leon.
Thank you, sir. Final adoption of ordinance number 3.
Final adoption of an ordinance to approve an expanded conditional use, Palaqueta Hills at 110 Alexander Road, to allow for a mobile home in District 1. The Planning and Zoning Commission, hearing no opposition, recommends adoption 3-0.
We would ask for the council's favorable consideration.
And as I stated earlier, Ms. Hills had to leave. Is there anyone in the public that has any questions or concerns on this line item? Anyone from the council? I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Andrews.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilman Wells.
Aye.
Councilman Leon.
Aye.
Councilman Divatario.
Final adoption of ordinance number 4.
Final adoption of an ordinance to adopt the City of Hammond's budget for fiscal year 2026-2027.
Defer to the council.
As I stated previously in our public hearing, this item is going to be tabled until our next meeting.
Since it's on the agenda, you should ask for public comment, since it's on the agenda.
Anyone have any questions or concerns on this item? Anyone from the council? Pleasure of the council.
Make a motion to table.
Second.
Councilman Wells.
Aye.
Councilman Leon.
Aye.
Councilman Andrews.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilman Divatario.
Introduction of ordinance number 1.
Introduction of an ordinance to name the courtroom in the Leon Ford Memorial Justice Building in honor of Judge Grace Bennett Gassaway. Councilman Andrews.
All right. I think everyone in here that's been in the city of Hammond any time in your life, you knew the judge. She was a lovely woman. She moved with grace and elegance due to her name as well. This past year, I had the opportunity to teach law studies out at Hammond High. We were going through some things in one of my classes, and I was looking at contracts and different things, and it came across my mind to what would be a nice way to honor her legacy of what she done to name the courtroom in her honor. So I had got with the city attorney to draft this item to make a presentation here to the council and the citizens of Hammond to introduce this item to name the courtroom over at our courthouse in her honor. Anyone have any questions or concerns on this item? Anyone from the council? I make a motion to introduce.
Second.
Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Councilman Leon.
Aye.
Councilman Wells.
Aye.
Councilman Andrews.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Old business.
A resolution authorizing the demolition of property located at 201 Mississippi Street Hammond, Louisiana, located in District 3. The owner, Harris Diane M., P.O. Box 333, Hammond, Louisiana, 70401.
There's a photograph of this property up on display now. We're asking for the council's favorable consideration so we can start the demolition process, which will include notifying the property owner before the demolition begins.
Is there anyone here on this item? Anyone from the council have any questions or concerns on this item?
Yes, I do. It's in District 3. Mr. Andre, explain the process to me, because we had voted on this, and this is what I did, and I thought I made it very clear. You know, I was actually giving her 30 days
Right.
from the time that we voted on this. So explain to me why this one here, because I don't know what the other two did, but I know exactly what I did. This here was for 30, it was giving her 30 extra days to do this here project. So why we're voting on this again?
And to piggyback off of what you're saying, Councilman Wills, I want clarification as well, because I'm not going to say confused, but when the 30 days start, did it start the night that we voted on that? Because there was a whole lot of talk about
Nobody knew.
the process. So I think that's where I would be on this one item on the agenda in mind as well.
Well, I made mine very clear that the 30 days started
That night.
Okay. So that's what I said.
All right.
I would just have to look at the minutes to see what was voted on, Councilman, to know. Councilman, I don't know. I don't know.
No, I understand what you're saying. No, I don't have a problem with it. That's why I never vote on the minutes. That's why I always abstain, because you know what? I never read what the minutes are. That's why I abstain from it. So I understand what you're saying. I just wanted to know the process, so next time this will come about, that's why I can tell the owner of the property that if I give you 30 more days, they're gonna come back before me. So I just need to know the
So
process.
technically, as we had discussed, it's 30 days. The city cannot demolish that. If the council gives an owner 30 days for the owner to demolish a building, that building can't be demolished within those 30 days. That doesn't mean the city can't start the process, either by letting out for bids for the work or doing something to get ready to prepare for demolition. But if the council votes to give someone 30 days, then that building should not be demolished within 30 days from that meeting of the council.
And that's from the city.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
But they can't do it within 30 days anyway.
As a practical matter.
Yeah.
What
So
you
I mean,
can do or
what are
can't
you extending? If it's 30 already, you extended it from, so it's gonna be an extra 2 days? What
You
I'm
have
saying,
to
so the
extend-
30, what I'm saying is the 30, they can't do it within 30.
Correct.
And then at the council meeting that night, and then, so when is the actual, you extending 30 days from when? When's
From
the
the,
30?
from the vote of the council. If you're
But it's
intent-
already a 30-day though.
So if I could offer a point of information. So these were on the May 12th agenda. So they're being introduced here tonight again because by the time the council meets again, it'll be past the 30-day window. So I think they're just being added because we're what, 3 days before the 30-day window?
Okay.
So as a practical matter, nothing would happen as far as demolition process is concerned until it's signed off on by the council president. So if that happens by the end of the week, it'll be in that 30-day window.
Okay.
And Councilman, we say, if it's your intention to give the owner extra time, then you may give it 60 days, which would be longer than
Yeah.
what the normal process might
Because
be.
30, you give them 30, you give them 30. So what I meant was you probably need to give them 35 or whatever. I mean, if you wanted more than 30.
Yeah, if you wanted more than the normal process, you would give them more time for demolition.
Okay, we've done this before, and I guess I'm confused why there's the confusion. Maybe it wasn't motioned properly, but in the past, we've said you have 30 days to pull a demolition permit. If they have not pulled their demolition permit within 30 days, then the city proceeds with demolition. There's no subsequent action needed by the council, because we have made that in the motion when we saw this the first time. So it doesn't need to come back to us.
Not sure. What I recall, though, is there was one item that was tabled.
Yes, I see that in the minutes,
That-
but this one said 30 days.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess out of abundance of caution, it should be voted on again. But in the future, it should be, we give you 30 days, 45 days, whatever, to pull your own demolition permit. If that timeline hasn't, if you haven't hit that deadline, then the city proceeds without coming back to us because we've already put that in the order.
What?
And we're not adding extra time to this.
And, you know, department head of whoever's sending these out would be nice to be here because they should have the process already in paper and knowing what they're doing so they could tell us. So, but I don't know who's actually over that.
So I have a comment. As far as these, one item was tabled, 30 days was given, so you gave extensions. I was told, not by the department head, but I was told I have it documented to bring back Mississippi Street. So this wasn't because of the 30-day window. It was stated that these people weren't going to make the repairs, or this person said they weren't going to do it, and so the process was to bring it back. So that's the reason it's on here. I don't know anything about the 30 days, but the instruction didn't come just from the code enforcement. It came from council.
That was to give more time, do you think?
No, to bring it back.
Okay.
Because I reached out to find out what's the process, so what do we do since they said 30 days? They said, nope, they're not going to do this, so let's just bring it back. We could not just not address it again. So that's why it's on here again. But it wasn't because of the 30 days. It was, the instruction was, this family or these people are not going to do anything. So we need to go ahead and have this done. That's what I was told on all of these.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, next time somebody come before me, let's make it very clear. We won't have this again because we got 1,000 more houses in District 3 need to be tore down. So if the family reach out to me and they sit there and say, well, we're going to do such and such, and I'm going to ask again, well, can I give them 30 days to make a decision? And I think, you know, it was said before all this had come about. We said this years before. We pretty much gave them the instructions on how to tear the houses down, bringing in loads of dirt, everything. So we gave all that before, during the era Bobby was here. And so it looked like it's getting worse now. So if somebody come before me, and I'm going to make it very clear, and they say, Councilman Wells, could I have more time? Can I look for someone? I'm going to sit there and tell them, yes, you can. And so I want to make sure, and I said it, you know, I don't know what's going on with Miss Lisa. I don't know what's going on, Miss Lisa, but I said, ma'am, we're going to give you 30 days for you to find somebody or you tear it down. So that's what I said, and I just confused on why this one come back up. The other two is not in my district. That's all I wanted to know. And that's why I asked Mr. Andre why we're voting on this again. That's the biggest question that I had, and the only question.
The reason to vote on it would only be if you want to do something different than what was done.
Okay. Thank you.
And mine was a different question. Mine was just 30 days. If you give an extension 30 days, is it if we don't tear them down within 30 days? So is that the 30 days, if you vote on a tear down, and not going to tear down 30 days. So are you voting to say extend it 30 days past the 30-day window that we give them already, or that's where the 30 days start, or is it actually 60 days? But we're already giving them 30, but that's not really set in stone. City could give them 35 or 40. So the start and finish date was my only concern. It's future-wise. If you give somebody 30 days, starting from the expiration of 30 days?
You're setting a minimum date they have.
Okay.
Under the process, it could be longer for it to actually get demolished.
Yeah.
30 days is what I understand to be a normal process.
Okay.
But if your intention is to give them more time, then you should extend it for 60 days or some longer time.
All right. Is there anyone else on this item? Pleasure of the council.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Councilman Leon? Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Resolution number 2.
A resolution authorizing the demolition of property located at 2808 Garner, Hammond, Louisiana, located in Council District 4, The owner, Wesley Oliver, 2808 Garner Street, Hammond, Louisiana, 70401.
Is there anyone from the public here on this item? Any questions or concerns from the council? Pleasure of the council.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilman Wells.
Aye.
Councilman Leon. Councilman Andrews.
Aye.
Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Resolution number 3.
A resolution authorizing the demolition of property located at 608 Campo, Hammond, Louisiana, located in Council District 1. The owner, Daniels Walter, 903 Martin Luther King, Hammond, Louisiana, 70401. Occupant, 608 Campo Street, Hammond, Louisiana.
Is there anyone from the public on this item? Anyone from the council have any questions or concerns? I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Andrews.
Aye.
Councilman Wells.
Aye.
Councilman Leon.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez. Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
New business number 1.
Review and consider appeal by Christopher Edwards, owner of the property located at 408 and 4010 West Thomas Street.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure all of you have seen, I've made an application to try to...
Before you go forward, Mr. Elwood, just give me your name and city, please, for the record.
Chris Edwards, Hammond, numerical.
No, that's fine. Thank you.
And so this is the old Vexus building on Thomas, and it's been vacant for quite a while since Vexus moved out, and I recently purchased it. And so what I've tried to do is to come up with one uneventful color, for lack of a better term, one natural earth tone color, and paint the building in a way that is still respectful to the surrounding buildings, but is also attractive to business owners who want to use the building and not just have it continue to be vacant like it has been. I've submitted some pictures. I don't know if you've seen it, and you'll see that the color is actual beige. And I picked beige because it is an earth tone color, resembles a brick color, but it looks a lot better. And this is still preserving, the facades. And so, what I want to look at is that you're going to hear the Hammond Historic District Guidelines says that unpainted, and I'm quoting, unpainted masonry should remain unpainted. It doesn't say shall, it doesn't say must. It says should. And the reason, I'm pontificating, but I mean the reason that it says should is so there can be variances. If something needs to be, it doesn't say shall. There are plenty statutes and plenty rules in the guidelines that do say shall, but this is not one. And so I wanted to bring that to your attention and say that, and I'm not asking to make this some type of ballroom, disco, bright flashing lights, neon paint. It is, as you could see, what it is on the screen there versus what I've proposed. If we could see the
Rotated?
proposed part. That's the front now. If we could go down, that would be the side with the beige, and then there's also a front elevation of that. And so, as you could tell, it is still in keeping with the historic districts, and I would ask that you consider approving the certificate of appropriateness and allow this building to be used by businesses and not to remain just completely vacant as it is today.
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Edwards? All right.
Good evening, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Heather Diebold. I'm the Historic District and Certified Local Government Coordinator for the City of Hammond. The matter before you this evening is an appeal of a decision rendered by the Hammond Historic District Commission concerning the property located at 408-410 West Thomas Street. The Historic District program operates because the city has adopted standards and agreed to administer them consistently. Those standards are not unique to Hammond. They are based upon nationally recognized preservation principles reflected in the Secretary of the Interior Standard for Rehabilitation and are used by preservation programs throughout the country. The Commission's role in reviewing a certificate of appropriateness application is not to determine what design may be preferred by one person or another, or what may be considered aesthetically pleasing by a particular individual. Historic preservation review is guided by adopted standards, not personal preferences. Personal preferences are inherently subjective and can vary from person to person over time. The purpose of those standards is to provide an objective and consistent framework for evaluating historic resources and proposed alterations. Accordingly, the Commission is charged with applying the Historic District Design Guidelines, the Secretary of the Interior Standards for Rehabilitation, which are federal standards, and the standards adopted by the City Council through the Unified Development Code in order to preserve and protect the historic resources that contribute to the character, identity, and economic vitality of the historic district. The primary question raised by this appeal is whether the Commission correctly applied those standards to the application that was before it, and whether its decision was supported by the evidence contained within the administrative record. The property at issue is identified as a contributing resource within both the Hammond Historic District and the National Register Historic District. As a contributing resource, it is subject to review under standards that place particular emphasis on the preservation of historic materials and character-defining features. The application proposed painting previously unpainted masonry, painting architectural limestone materials, and replacing existing louvered windows with white insulated vinyl replacement windows. In evaluating the application, the Commission considered the submitted plans, their design guidelines, the Secretary of Interior standards, the Historic Resource Inventory Survey, testimony presented during the public hearing, and technical guidance received from the Louisiana State Historic Preservation Office. Based upon that information, the Commission unanimously determined that the proposed work was inconsistent with the applicable standards. In particular, the Commission found that the proposed painting of previously unpainted masonry and architectural limestone would permanently alter historic materials and character-defining features. The Commission further considered evidence indicating that the building's differing masonry and stone materials reflect its historic development and architectural character, including findings by the Historic Resource Inventory Survey and comments by the Louisiana State Historic Preservation Office, recognizing those features as characteristic of mid-century modern architecture. The State Historic Preservation Office also expressed appreciation for the Commission's use of their design guidelines and Secretary of Interior standards in reaching a fact-based decision. In addition, the State Historic Preservation Office noted concerns regarding the painting of previously unpainted historic masonry, including the permanent alteration of historic materials and the potential for paint to trap moisture within the masonry system, which can accelerate deterioration of historic brick and mortar over time. The record further reflects that preservation-compatible alternatives were discussed. However, the Commission ultimately voted on the application as submitted at the request of the applicant. The administrative record demonstrates that the Commission did not err in applying the standards adopted by the city to the application as submitted, and that its decision was supported by the evidence before it. For those reasons, and based upon the administrative record before you, I respectfully request that the Council uphold the decision of the Hammond Historic District Commission. Thank you.
Anyone have any questions? Anyone from the public have any questions on this item?
Come up.
You step to the podium, give us your name and city, please.
Thomas Nielsen, Hammond, Louisiana. Basically, I just wanted to ask the council, what reason could they themselves individually present for why the painting of this building would be a mistake, so to speak? Because if you can see any of the discourse, and I'm pretty sure Mr. Edwards would be aware of this as well, the building as it stands is a bit of a blight. Like driving past the building, it's a low point in the general image of downtown Hammond. And like you said, he's not requesting to put up a false facade. He's not requesting to do a neon colors or anything, or even build a wall around the building. He would want to bring the building up to a better visual standard to reflect the identity of downtown Hammond. So I understand that Ms. Diebold mentioned the standards that they wish to uphold with her group, and that may be true, but again, nothing of the building's architecture is being irreparably changed by changing the color of the building and making, again, the silhouette and the image of downtown Hammond better. So that was my main question to the council.
Hi, Leon Maryland, Hammond, Louisiana. I am a disinterested party. I just listened to what they said, and I just did a quick research. What each person said seems to be true. However, it's the intent of it. There is nothing in the rules that says this is required, this is what must be done. What the rules say is should, which means preferable. As Ms. Carley can attest from law school, if it doesn't say it must be, or Mr. Andre could say from practicing law, there are some options there. And I understand what the city representative is saying, but this building is basically being taken care of, it's being utilized properly, and it's being for a beneficial purpose. That is the whole point of these rules. It's not going to look any different, it's not going to hurt the community, it's going to actually be something that's just sitting there vacant, doing nothing, to where it's going to be allowed to be something to prosper. Why wouldn't we do that? That's all.
So who district is in? Okay. Oh, in District 2. So, go, ma'am, go.
Hi, I'm Jessica Shirey, the chairperson for the Historic District, served for over 10 years for this commission. Again, I would like to, we've been here before, I would like to gently remind you that an appeal is simply, to you guys, is simply to decide whether we made an error in our decision. And our decisions are not made arbitrarily. They are not opinions. They are not emotionally based whatsoever. The only thing before you is if we made an error in our decision. It was also a unanimous decision, to throw that in there as well. If you have any questions for me, I'm here to answer them.
Chris Edwards again. Since it was brought up, if we want to make I guess a legal error thing, I would invite you to look at what was presented, the notice of decision and findings, and there is a section 2 that says evidence considered, and in the evidence considered, what is not in there is public comment. There was no evidence of the public comment that was submitted at that hearing of the historic district. And that's concerning, because public comment should be considered. I mean, the council represents the public. So how can you take the evidence considered and take out everything that was said by any constituent and not put that into your decision? And so I would ask and state that refusing to consider that evidence, because it lists, in reaching the Hammond district considered the following. And nowhere in there does it say public input.
Chris, I want to ask you something. Sure. This right here, this picture right here, you mind looking at? So this is, had another one up there. This is going to be the front right here. And this is old. And then this vinyl is going to be on the side. And what type of window is going to be here? That's aluminum or?
That is changing.
Oh, huh?
But that one right there is
So-
the historic district mock-up, that's not his.
Okay, so, okay, so what?
One, yeah.
So which one is that one?
The one that
That one,
Okay.
in the,
that one is his.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chris, I have one question for you.
Certainly.
So, did you reach out to the council person in that district?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the reason I ask that question because a lot of times, and I tell people, if it's in my district, I like to talk about it and give my opinion on what I think about it. So
Okay.
I truly want to just follow behind what the council person have to say about it, which is Ms. Gonzalez, to see what she have to say. Because me looking at these pictures, and I know the audience should be able to see these pictures too. Charles, could you put these pictures back up, please? Versus the old pictures or whoever working the camera.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So that's what you're proposing?
And that's
Yeah.
to propose.
Okay.
And it's called accessible beige is the.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just want, and let me say this here. I don't have a dog in this fight whatsoever, but I like doing things the right way. And a lot of times, because this here was this annexed into the historical district, or it was already there? Because I know we made the district larger. I mean, you all wanted.
It did come back, it came in with the expansion of the district in 2022.
Yeah, it was in the expansion, yeah.
Okay.
That's right, yeah.
Expansion.
Yeah,
It was
because
an
I know,
expansion.
because Ms. Mashburn, she had a flower shop by the old church's chicken, and she didn't know what was going on. And so I did ask you all to make sure they get a certified letter letting them know if they wanted to be a part of the historical district or not. And I know Mr. Edwards wasn't aware of that when you all did that, but
You want to give me that option?
yes, sir, you can.
May I have that option?
I do have a question. This is just a point of clarification. So, Mr. Edwards, you stated that the guidelines say should not.
Correct.
Is it should not or shall not?
Should.
Because
It should.
well, I'm looking at page 37 of the second attachment under guidelines for exterior walls, trim, and cornices, and number 7 says unpainted wall materials that were historically not painted or coated shall not be painted or coated.
Okay, look at,
Is there somewhere else that you read should not?
yes. You can look at page, I'm sorry. I can give you several. It's a quote of, even in section 4 of the commission's finding, quote, unpacing, under the Hammond Historic District Design Guidelines expressly provide that, and it's got in quotes, unpainted masonry should remain unpainted.
Is that in the guidelines or is that in the report?
This is.
Because I'm looking at, like, again, I'm looking at the guidelines, and the guidelines specifically say shall not. So I just want a clarification. Is the word should not or shall not?
It says should remain unpainted. It doesn't say should, shall not, should not.
But is that in the guidelines? That's what I'm saying. What do the guidelines say? Can we get some clarification on what the guidelines say? The version of the guidelines that are included with attachment 2.
Well, I would suggest that the findings are inaccurate, then we certainly have an issue that should be overturned. Because I'm just reading from the commission's findings that says, and they quote, in quotation marks, that unpainted masonry should remain unpainted, end quote. So that means verbatim.
So the question I'm asking is the quote incorrect? What do the guidelines state? The guidelines state shall not be painted, because I think we would need to consider what the guidelines say, not what is being quoted. Heather, do you have the guidelines?
So under guidelines from masonry, it says it is not appropriate to apply paint or other coatings to unpainted masonry elements that were historically not coated. Application of paint or other coatings to unpainted masonry elements is not permitted. So that's under the guidelines for masonry. Now, whether or not that was quoted in the findings, the notice of decision, again, going back to his notice of decision, saying that public input was not included in the notice of findings. The notice of findings was more for him, for him because we knew he was going to appeal this. So we went ahead and provided him with something that he could provide to council for the appeal. The minutes are what reflect the fact of whether or not there was public input. And you also have a copy of the unofficial. Unfortunately, this appeal was before we have our next meeting to actually vote on those meetings to approve them. So, but it is not allowed, is what it says. And also to bring up a point, just because a building has different masonry, different colored bricks, all the other kinds of things, does not mean it cannot be brought into commerce. It does not mean that that building cannot be used. We offered some alternatives that would not damage the historic materials or affect the character defining elements of that building. There was no discussion about that because we were told to just go ahead and vote on the application as submitted. So we moved on and we voted as the application was submitted. And as it was submitted, we applied the standards, not only our local standards, but federal standards. I got technical guidance from the Louisiana State Historic Preservation Office, and they agreed that the decision that was made, that we applied the guidelines, and we made a fact-based decision, and that the decision was correct.
All right.
Leon Maryland, Hammond. Just listening to them, it's kind of the term arbitrary and capricious seems to come into mind. That's a legal term. And what that seems to be is that they started off with a no. Like, no matter what he says, no matter what he does, we're going to say no. And then the decision seems to be roving to they're looking from one excuse to another to keep their determined as no. Ms. Shirey said that the only role that you all can do is whether or not they made a wrong decision. That's not actually true. You all can basically say, we disagree. That's called an appeal. And a higher court or a higher authority can basically say, okay, you could have did something wrong or you could have did something right. We just disagree with your decision. And that's ultimately within each of your powers. If you all think that they are completely right, but you still disagree with them, that's well within your powers. You all have the authority to say, okay, and with regards, if they messed up by saying in the findings one thing and then coming back later and say, oh, well, we got it wrong there and we're going to the rules now, that kind of puts things in, well, litigation. And I don't think anyone wants that. At the end of the day, does this building look historically bad? Yes or no? That should be the determining factor.
Thank you.
My main question was, again, along the lines of the phrasing in the agenda where it mentioned, consider the appeal by Christopher Edwards. I know it was mentioned that appeals would be if there was an error made by the historic district. Is it that it was, I guess, presented, or he presented it incorrectly for appeal? Should he have instead asked for a variance? Is that something that can be done under the guidelines of the historic district? Okay, I was mainly asking because I know with zoning issues, people usually ask for variances, but so I didn't know if the term applied colloquially.
So to answer your question about the variance would have had to have been asked of the historic district. They can't ask the council for a variance on an application that's been denied, that's here for appeal. So an appeal is bringing the decision of a commission, city commission, to the city council to, obviously, wants it overturned, but and sir, whenever you asked about, or mentioned about the arbitrary comment, yes, they can do what they want to do with this. However, that if they make a decision outside of, did the commission make an error, then that, sir, would be arbitrary. That would be an arbitrary decision. Because our standards, our guidelines, are city ordinance. Those are the law in the Unified Development Code. So then they would overturn, basically, a city ordinance. For what reason? That's what it would be doing. Overturning a decision to uphold the city ordinance. I mean, she just read the ordinance. It's not really, no, that, what he was reading was from a report, not from the, it was an informative report. It's not an official, like, document. The ordinance is, it's not. It is an informative document for you to move forward with your appeal.
All
That's
right.
what we discussed. The minutes are all in the hyperlinks for you guys to read, to listen to. I mean, I'm not sure what else it is. We go back to the hard guideline, the hard ordinance, and that's what it states.
So if it's in District 2, if it's in Ms. Gonzalez's district, we need to hear what Ms. Gonzalez have to say about it. That's what I think.
Yeah, I'll talk about it. Just wait until everyone has a chance to talk.
Go ahead again, sir.
The issue just presented was the basis of my question. So would that go to say that the council is at no liberty whatsoever to even consider this, as to say he could paint it this beige color? Or is the council only able to change this decision based on some sort of clerical error or something that the historic district made? Or are they at liberty to consider Mr. Edwards' appeal?
Well, I'll address that. So under the UDC, persons are allowed to appeal a decision by the Historic District Commission, and you, as the governing body under the UDC, have the right to reverse, change, or modify any decision of the commission by a majority vote of all members, which basically means you have to have 3 votes to change, reverse, or modify the decision of the commission.
Okay.
So from what Mr. Kudrain said, this would be something that the council could possibly do. It isn't reliant on some error by the, I keep mixing up the name, by the Historic Preservation District, correct?
Correct.
Okay. That was my main question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I did speak to Mr. Edwards about this. I do think it looks bad. I know that's not necessarily what we're going on, right, of the looks of it. I have a little bit of an issue that it was all taken up together, painting the limestone, the windows, and the brick all together, because and I listened to the minutes, I listened to y'all's meeting. We didn't discuss the windows because I don't think that those meet your guidelines. So that could be something that needs to be addressed. And the limestone, I thought it shouldn't be painted, and I see we can't see it from there. But I understand that there's a bunch of repairs that need to happen, and so if you have to replace a whole panel, you can never make them look the same color, so that needs to be addressed too. As to the painting, I'm looking, and I can't find the shall that you have, Charles, but I see that it's not appropriate to apply paint to unpainted masonry elements. That's in the guidelines. I think that there has to be a way to judge whether we can have a property like this that's been sitting there and looks pretty rough. Back in Commerce, everybody wants to be downtown. I personally, I think the paint idea is a good idea. I'm sorry, I do. I think that there should be some flexibility in the way I'm reading these guidelines. You guys could be more flexible, work with people, figure out how we can make things. And I get that you gave them the ability to have a trellis or trees, but that's not, I don't think that trellis idea that you have there looks good. It's going to look cheap. It, potentially messes up the parking that they're going to be putting in. I'm not finding a lot of working with each other, and that causes me a lot of concern.
So I don't know if Zach can go to the second attachment and then click on the link that goes to the mock-up so you can see it. Again, these were just suggestions. These were not determinative alternatives that said you need to do this or you need to do that. These were simply ways to show that there are other ways that you can blur the lines and make it look more uniform without damaging the property, and it would be reversible. I mean, you would be setting a precedent of rules and regulations that you adopted into your own,
Zach, it's page 63.
thank you, into your own Unified Development Code. Our design guidelines are a part of the UDC, and you would be setting a precedent for people who look to these guidelines and look to the UDC for consistency. This would not affect his parking because it is literally like 1 inch off of the building. Again, these are AI generations. These were things that were given to him as alternative options. So, and if you keep scrolling, Zach, I believe there's one for the front, oh, no, go up. I think there's one for the front of the building as well. Yeah, so this was also done where, and Carly, you brought up a thing about, panels having to be replaced. Yes, if the panels are replaced with the limestone, that's the same limestone, we know that if it's polished correctly, all of it would be the same. It would all look the same. So again,
So you're saying that you could patch the 80-something holes that are in the limestone and polish it and you wouldn't see it?
I mean, I'm not a limestone person, but it's my understanding that panels could be replaced, they could be repaired, and they could be polished, yes, and have a uniform look. That is correct. And again, we're going back to the whole thing of, well, I think it looks better. That's a personal preference. Obviously, back in 1944, when this building was built, their personal preference was having 2 different types of brick.
But also in y'all's meeting, you did state that that was probably because there was something blocking the view, and they used this one type of brick probably because it was historic, and so you see where they just wrap a facade, and then they use the cheap brick in the back. So by that theory, we're using the cheap brick. It's the, is it historical to use the cheap brick? Why do we not have some uniformity to make the building not look so hodgepodge?
Well, because to that point, historically, we have a lot of buildings within the historic district that you technically really can't see how it was done because a lot of the buildings are attached, or they share party walls, or they're very close to one another, that did exactly that they used a quote-unquote cheaper material in the back and wanted the more fancy, more expensive front. The more expensive front, the brick that was used in the front, the limestone that was used in the front, the mid-century modern look is very John Jacob Desmond, which is a very well-renowned architect for the city of Hammond.
This isn't a Desmond building, though, is it?
We do not know specifically if it is.
Well, they did a whole survey a couple years back, right?
When they did that survey, this particular building was not in the expansion at that point. And again, when it comes to expanding the local historic district and the national district, it was the state and the federal government that came in and did the expansion. It wasn't the historic district that asked for that. So I'm just letting you know that.
Anyone else?
I'm just a little confused. What she just said kind of reiterates the point where they said, well, we like these things, but is this building going to be cost out of commerce? How much is this going to cost? How much is that going to cost? And as a small business owner, those things must be taken into consideration. For example, is it 86? Did you say it was 80?
I counted close to 80 drill holes that was throughout the limestone,
And
in addition to chips and so on down the line.
And I'm like, so I'm feel for what the Historical Society is saying, but what they're saying seems to be impossible. So that should be a consideration as well. I don't see how you can patch 80-something holes and oak walls or anything like that and still be able to use this building.
Katie Patton. So I've been a resident of Hammond my entire life, and I want to first start by saying that what is being done in downtown is absolutely beautiful. The way it's been changed, the new Hammond sign, the way it looks by the railroad is gorgeous. And if you notice, as you move away from that center heart of downtown, it does start to go down a little bit. And I think that what he's trying to do with this building would really help start bringing that area near Lee's back to life like it needs to. I understand there's policies and there's rules and there's procedures. I understand how those things work. But if that is preventing a significant portion of Hammond who also feels that it would look better, then I think we need to reconsider exactly what our guidelines are, because we've seen it on Facebook, and there is a lot of support for what he wants to do with the building, as well as the, what are they called, at La Coretta's as well. But I think that, I know you don't want to go off on feeling basis. However, if the city feels like it's good for the city, then that's really important as well. So, I don't know, maybe reconsider the policies then.
Just a her thing. Yeah, there is a lot of support on Facebook, and it's frustrating sometimes when you can't go on Facebook and educate people and explain to them why the decisions were made the way that they were made. One important thing that I do think that needs to be brought up is that because we have a historic district, we are a certified local government. Without a certified local government, you don't have your Main Street program. You don't have, you'd lose your historic district. If you lose your historic district, you lose your federal and state tax credits for the buildings, you lose federally funded grants, and who knows what happens to Hammond. I can tell you AMEET lost their CLG. They lost their historic district. I was not here when AMEET maybe looked nice, but I go to AMEET frequently now, and I can tell you it doesn't look anything like Hammond. And people come to Hammond, they come here to film, TV, photograph. We have people who are coming here and wanting to actually take these historic buildings and make them their forever homes. It's not just businesses. I mean, if you go down that slope, that slippery slope of making changes for one person on a law, on a rule, just because you don't think it pertains to you, then who's the next person that's going to come up and say, well, it shouldn't pertain to me either? So, just letting you know.
I'm asking this here question here. It's on my mind. So look, tell me this here. Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Absolutely.
We got this gas station downtown.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a part of the historical district?
Which one are you referring
The
to?
gas station where that old, I'm talking about the wood.
The wood?
About higher than this building.
Twins.
Yeah, Queens. I didn't know the name of it. Is that a part of the historical district?
Yes, it is.
And this is what I'm saying. And I don't care because I'm going out tonight. I'm talking about I don't care how long we'll be here. What I'm saying is, I'm looking at how the building look now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at how Queens look. And downtown supposed to be clean, supposed to look good. You know, it represent the city of Hammond. But it's amazing, and I don't know how long y'all talk or whatever, but we still going back and forth, in which I got all the time in the world tonight. We're going back and forth with this building, and I don't know the rules and regulations. But from my point, from what I see, it looks good. And this is what I always hear all the time, and this has nothing to do with you. Well, we don't want to run potential business out of Hammond. We don't want to do this, we don't want to do that. But, and I'm saying this to say this here, Guy's Grocery, it was a big mess about Guy's Grocery. And I'm saying, it's like we beg the people to come, but yet we fight them too. And so I'm saying this here, if you want, you can't put your building in District 3, and we can work with a building for you in District 3. I promise you we can. Because we ain't going to do all this in District 3. We need all the business we can. So I don't know what's going on with this here, but I know we should come up with a better solution and how we can do this here and how to make it right. But it's not in my district. And I'm saying that to say, you keep jumping up, and I don't see and I don't know, because you saying this here, and I tell everybody, I don't care for threats at all, you know. Either we vote on it or we don't vote on it. But me personally, you know, and Andre, you help me out. You tell me if I'm wrong. So this appeal. So what we supposed to do in this here situation?
You can reverse, change, or modify any decision of the commission. That's your right to do it. Or you can affirm the decision of the commission.
Okay.
So the UDC gives you the ability to, you can say they were right and affirm their decision, or you can reverse it and say no. You can change it, or you can modify their decision.
Okay. So now this still gonna go back and if it was in District 3, I'm gonna say yeah if it was in District, but it's not in District 3. So I'm gonna go back to see what Ms. Gonzalez want, since it's in her district, and see what she say. And I truly like to piggyback off what a person say in their district, what they want, because I tell everybody, can't no city councilman up here represent District 3 and talk for District 3, because they don't stay in District 3. And so I tell everybody, and Ms. Lisa and I, we get into it all the time, no, don't go vote for nobody first, and it's in District 3. I want to be, and she still don't listen, but that's a whole nother horse there. But so that's what I would like to see, exactly what Ms. Gonzalez want us to do, or what she want to do. Let me put it like that, and I can go from there.
I appreciate that, but I've said before, I don't think that we are the keepers of our district versus all of us having an opinion. We all live in the city. Minnesota Park gets done, I drive over there all the time. I go in your district, I drive through your district, I drive through everybody's district. We're all citizens in Hammond. I mean, I do have an opinion, and I'll get there when we're done with everything, but it's not right for us to think we gatekeep our districts.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you said that. We need to do that with the budget too then.
And again, I just want to point out that these preservation standards that came from the National Preservation Act in 1966 are at the federal level. So, I mean, I understand all your passion and you guys wanting to make, you know, the citizens of Hammond happy. But, I mean, maybe your aspiration should be to run for U.S. Congress, because that's where you can make the real change.
I'm looking at that too, ma'am. Thank you.
Ms. Gonzalez, is there anything else
I'm tired of it.
That's my last one. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Yeah.
All right, this is just my last concern about this, but as Mr. Kudre mentioned earlier, the council is at liberty to decide on this issue in particular, and I don't think that deciding to let this building be painted or not will change whether we have a Hammond Historic District as a governing body at all. Just to kind of ground the apocalyptic scenarios there, these types of things are normal. I helped a town on the north end of the parish develop a historic district thing as well, and these types of changes are usually taken on a case-by-case basis, completely normal. It does not mean that, you know, the governing body will collapse, you won't have it anymore, and all those sorts of things, as long as it was a measured approach. So I hope everything works out for for the individual that wants to do this building, but I don't think the sky is going to fall because of it.
Thank you. Is there anything else you want?
No, I go back to the fact that I don't think that the windows are correct. I do think there's room in our guidelines to allow painting if we're looking at it from a wholehearted economic level. And I think we should be doing that more, working with people and having more, we've had this before. They've come before us, we've overturned some, we haven't overturned others, and there's very little, if at all, consideration of economic development and keeping properties into commerce that is happening with the historic district. So I would like to see that this is reversed as to the painting.
Okay. All right. Anyone else from the council? All right. Pleasure of the council.
I'll make a motion to reverse the Historic Districts Commission's decision.
Let me just clarify with the motion. Is it just as to the painting of the exterior, or is it to the entire certificate?
I think it's just to the painting, because Unless
just wanna be-
you guys want to
Yeah,
tell us.
yeah, let's clear that up.
How, and then where do we go? We've been here before, when you guys first took your positions here, where a decision was overturned, and then it sat. That was where it wasn't complete. So I feel like that moving forward, we need to complete, if you're going to reverse something, it should be very specifically clear what it is that you're reversing. The whole thing, just throw it out the window, then it's Wild Wild West. He gets to do whatever he wants to with that building at that point. Can't come before us or anything because you've already overturned something.
Okay.
So I feel like that moving forward with this motion, if this is the direction that it's going, then, and I would also, for our purposes, because we do get audited by the, for all of these decisions, and a decision, an appeal that's overturned is a blemish, and yes, a CLG can be revoked because of those blemishes. So if it could be stated why, the reasoning for overturning a decision and clarifying exactly what needs to move forward and in what time frame, all of that, because you've taken it completely out of the regulatory district hand.
So
So
Perhaps
so what I'm looking at is the certificate of appropriateness. That's what
Yeah.
the application was for. And the scope of work that was requested, he wanted to have a uniform color that attracts business owners while preserving the facade. Wants to replace the current side and back windows with insulated windows. Wants to remove a tree in the front and replace with simple and classy landscaping while utilizing the existing flower bed and structures. And then he talks about the paint, accessible beige as the main building, and uniform colors. Urbane brown, I think, whatever that color is, the trim color. So the question is, you can approve the certificate as requested on all of those items, or you can change some of them or modify the decision. The Historic District Commission said, no, the whole application's denied. So the question is it the entire application that is reversed, or is it parts of it? And that's what we want to make clear, so everybody knows going forward what's approved.
I just want to be clear that the only thing that was ever really discussed in there was the painting of the brick and the limestone. The windows were never discussed because the applicant insisted that we just move forward with a vote. He did not want to discuss any more options, so we did not even discuss the windows. So
What about the tree? Do you guys have to issue a
over,
approval of cutting down a tree?
over landscaping, we do like to have some say over it, but he already
Required.
removed the tree without even,
But is that required?
yes, landscaping is also part of the historic district. Yes.
So I would say reverse as to the certificate of, reverse and grant a certificate of appropriateness for painting according to the application.
Yes.
Is that's your motion, Steve?
Well, a second.
So the other items on there, he has to come back individually for that? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, only-
landscape and everything else?
What you're doing is you're allowing the painting of the exterior to be done. That's the motion. Doesn't address any of the other requests in the
Well,
certificate.
they didn't discuss it. They didn't.
So that, the only thing you're doing is approving the painting of the exterior.
Aye.
Councilman Wells.
Aye.
Councilman Andrews.
Aye.
Councilman Leon.
Aye.
Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Resolution number 2.
A resolution to approve the mayor to enter into a contract with Tangi Times as the official journal for the city of Hammond from July 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2027. Charles?
I'm going to ask that the council table this so that I can confer with the city attorney. There was some requirements that were brought to our attention late this afternoon about the Journal of Records. We'll have an opportunity to talk to the city attorney about those. Just for the public and the council's knowledge, the Daily Star, which is currently our official Journal of Record, has moved to once-a-week publication in a physical form. We do have requirements in some cases, special meetings, certain commissions, grants, where we have to publish multiple notices in a shorter period of time. So that becomes a challenge when you can only publish once in a physical paper each week. Circulation numbers, the Tangi Times circulation numbers appear to be larger than the Daily Star, and I know there's been concerns among the council members about getting notifications out with respect to zonings and rezonings and whatnot. And then the third point we were looking at was online presence. Currently, I believe online editions of the Daily Star are only available for about 3 weeks, and then they're no longer available on the website. So there are some considerations that we need to make with respect to our publications, our notices, making the information available in a more permanent location. But we also want to make sure we're complying with state law and any other applicable law with respect to if you have a local paper, are you required to use that local paper?
Okay. Excuse me. Anyone else have any questions on this item? I'll make a motion to the table. Oh, you got a question?
Yeah, I got a question. Yeah, this was brought up 2 years ago about the newspaper and stuff. So explain it to me again, Charles, on how we pick this other newspaper.
So the Tangi Times is a parish paper. They're not located here in Hammond. I think they're technically in Ponchatoula, their main office. They're publishing 3 days a week. Their circulation numbers, according to them, around 6,000 to 9,000, and their online presence is for as long as they exist as a paper. So anything that we would publish with them could be retrieved a year later, 10 years later, as long as they're still around. The Daily Star is local, and just from a quick reading of state law, it does seem like the state law does provide a provision that if you have a local paper, i.e. a paper in your city, that the law says you should be using that paper as your official journal of record. But the Daily Star has reduced its publication to once a week in a physical format. Again, whereas the Tangi Times is 3 times a week. Their circulation numbers are reported to be around 3,000, where again, Tangi Times is around 6,000 plus. And then online editions of the paper appear to be available for about 3 weeks on the Daily Star site, whereas with the Tangi Times, we're being told that it would remain up as long as we are a customer, as long as they're a paper. So we want some time, like I said, for me to confer with the city attorney, review the applicable law, what our requirements are for publications, this in terms of special meetings, grants, commissions, committees that we have, making sure that if we do need to publish multiple times and we can't do that with the Daily Star, can we also publish in the Tangi Times, or could we move to the Tangi Times entirely?
Yeah.
Go.
I was just saying, yeah, this came up a couple years ago. That's why I was kind of lost why I was even on there without getting all this checked out. Because, we were talking about it 2 years ago that we had to go to the Daily Star because it was a statute, and, if somebody moved in here, they'd have to stay in it for at least 2 years, another company. They couldn't just come pop up a satellite. You had to go with it was a state statute. So I'm not too sure how it even got on here without checking in on what we could do around the state statute. It was about 2 years ago, I think, it came up. And we talked to Andre about it, and you said it was just, had to go through the state and change guidelines and everything else to make it happen.
I think what's caused the further question is the publishing of the Daily Star only being once a week. And we have requirements of certain publications on certain time limits that push, if you have to publish 3 times, then that's 3 weeks, right, and not 1 week. So we're looking at that. We're looking at some options, and I've suggested to meet with the Daily Star to see if there are ways that they could accommodate some of our concerns. So, yeah, I think the difference was the change of the days of the publication. But there is a statute which says if there's one in your municipality, that's the one you're supposed to use.
Yeah, it came up concern because I think they were missing a couple that we were having trouble with in the past with that. So, like I said, it's always been a little concern about that, with the notice, but.
And just for clarification, the change to once-a-week publication is relatively new. I think that happened within the last few months. So prior to the last few months, Daily Star was publishing, as I understand, 3 times a week. And within the last couple of months, they've moved to once-a-week publication as a physical paper.
So did anyone reach out to the Daily Star?
We've had some communication with them, yes. They were the ones that alerted us this afternoon, this afternoon, to the state statute that requires if there's a local paper, that they be the journal of record. The question that I want to discuss with Andre is what Andre pointed out, what I pointed out earlier, which is that there are occasions where we have requirements to publish more frequently than the Daily Star alone would allow us to. If we have to publish 3 times in 2 weeks, and the Daily Star only publishes twice a week, we may not be meeting that requirement. So we want to look for clarification. Does the digital version count as a publication? Is it got to be a physical version? Is there an option potentially to use both papers so we meet the requirements either way? We have an official journal of record, and we have a secondary journal that we can use to meet those special requirements.
I'd imagine there must be some sort of transition in digital now somewhere, because, I mean, a lot of these publications, unfortunately, are going to be possibly having hard times over the next, they've been slacking every one of them. I mean, even Tangy Times they're doing right now, they may start, hopefully not, but having problems next year or something, and they might downsize. So it's definitely a continued problem that's going to continue to happen.
Yes, so we're going to look real closely to see if an online publication
Yeah.
meets the requirement for publications.
All right. Anyone else? I make a
Motion on
motion.
the table to.
Yeah, I make a motion to table.
To table.
Second.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilman Andrews.
Aye.
Councilman Wells.
Aye.
Councilman Leon. Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Resolution number 3.
A resolution accepting a Patrick Leahy Bulletproof Vest Partnership Grant in the amount of $11,074.10 to purchase new and replacement body armor for Hammond police officers. Number 2, approving $11,074.10 to match, cash match from the Hammond Police Department. And 3, authorizing the mayor or his designee to complete and sign related documents. Charles Barsha.
This is a grant that we apply for every year. The way this one works is it's a one-for-one match. So whatever amount we receive, we're expected to match. That's why sometimes the numbers are a little strange, $11,074.10. That's what we were awarded. I don't know why they don't round to the nearest dollar, but so that's what we're required to match. This will be enough funding to purchase about 13 to 14 bulletproof vests for police officers. Our police officers are able to rotate out their vests by newer technology, more comfortable, lighter technology every 5 years. And this program offsets a significant amount of that cost. On state contract, a lot of the vests are already discounted, and this further discounts it. So great tool for us to be able to use. The match comes from the Hammond Police Department. We're asking for the council's favorable consideration.
Is there anyone from the public have any questions or concerns on this item? Anyone from the council?
Yes, Charles, how many bulletproof vests the police department have as of right now?
I'm going to say ballpark, probably around 80 to 90. We should have one for just about every police officer that's out in the field.
Okay, how many police officers we have?
I'm going to say about 80 to 90. I don't have the exact number in front of me.
Okay, because what I'm saying, and yes, I'm all for this here, but I'm just wanting to know, do we have enough, or this all you can get at one time? Because what I'm looking at, and I'm talking about the shooting we just had in Hammond, and so that's what I'm looking at. So do we have enough vests? Because honestly, I wouldn't want no law enforcement out there without a vest on. And
Yes.
And hold up, don't be so fast, please. And is it required that the police officer wear the vest? I'm saying, is it a part of their uniform, or they pick and choose when they want to wear it, when they don't want to wear it?
We have a mandatory wear policy. So yes, it's required that they wear their vests when they're on duty. We have enough vests to cover all of our on-duty police officers. The way this program works is we forecast out 2 years. That's how the program works. So the 13 to 14 vests that this money will pay for would actually carry us through the next year. So hopefully we'll be able to apply for this grant again, maybe later this year or early next year, and we'll have extra money to go forward. So if this program ever goes away, we have enough funds in theory to cover us for another year before we have to start funding it completely ourselves.
Normally, Councilman Wells, plain clothes, and some detectives normally don't, but it's suggested that they do.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause last week I had went to, well, Saturday to be exact, I went to a block party, and I saw the police officer had it on, had a bulletproof vest on, and I thought that was good. That's all. That's the only reason I'm asking.
If they're in uniform, they should be wearing their vest. And a lot of the vests are now the external ones, which they find are more comfortable to wear.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Resolution number 4.
A resolution to, one, accept a $5,000 award for the Keep Louisiana Beautiful affiliate grant program to help fund the citywide litter prevention and recycling education initiative, and 2, support a 15% in-kind match in volunteer hours. Charles Barshers.
This is a grant opportunity, again, that we were able to apply for about every year. We do various things with it. This year, we're going to try to kind of go back to some of the roots of the program, which is doing litter prevention and recycling education. The in-kind match, we have enough volunteers from cleanups and whatnot that we usually meet the match requirement with the first cleanup. So there's no cash that's exchanged for this. This is $5,000 to assist that organization, those members.
All right. Anyone from the public have any questions or concerns on this item? Anyone from the council? I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Resolution number 5.
A resolution, 1, authorizing a $1,941,677 grant from the Federal Aviation Administration for runway 13-31 rehabilitation north at the Hammond North Shore Regional Airport, and 2, authorizing the mayor or his designee to complete and sign related documents. Charles Barsher.
This one and the next 3 are all related. So we have been able to bid out this project, which is going to do some repair works to the north end of our longest runway. It will be entirely funded by FAA and DOTD Aviation. There's no city match required here. So the first resolution is to accept the federal FAA grant. The second resolution is to accept the DOTD grant. And then the next 2 have to do with ratifying the low bid and executing a contract with the airport engineer for the construction phase engineering for this project. Again, all of it covered by FAA and DOTD. We are waiting for final approvals from FAA and DOTD, but they've been provided all of the information about this project, and we expect they will fund it. It is within the budget that was originally projected by the engineer.
Anyone from the public have any questions on this item? Anyone from the council? I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Leon? Aye. Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Resolution number 6.
A resolution, 1, authorizing a $102,194 grant from the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development Aviation Division for runway 13-31 rehabilitation north at Hammond North Shore Regional Airport, and 2, authorizing the mayor or his designee to complete and sign related documents. Charles Barsher.
We would ask for the council's favorable consideration.
Anyone from the public on this item? Anyone from the council? Pleasure of the council?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Resolution number 7.
A resolution ratifying bids and awarding the contract for runway 13-31 rehabilitation north to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, R.J. Daigle and Sons Contracting, Inc., in the amount of $1,937,597.50. Funding for the project will come from FAA and DOTD Aviation, from which the council accepted $150,000 in initial funding on January 13th, 2026. Charles Barsher.
So we were fortunate to have 4 bids on this project. RJ Daigle and Sons was the lowest responsive and responsible bidder. There was an additive alternate, so this includes both the base bid and the additive alternate and the total price, which is $1,937,597.50. The previously approved $150,000, there is some leftover money from that will go into funding this phase of the project.
Left over from what?
The initial phase that was approved by the council back in January, that was for the design phase. So we actually came in under budget on the design phase. So we'll be able to apply some of those leftover monies from the design phase to the construction phase.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else from the public? Pleasure to council.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Councilman Leon.
Aye.
Councilman Wells.
Aye.
Councilman Andrews.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Resolution number 8.
A resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a work authorization in the amount of $140,400.94 with Michael Baker International for runway 13-31 Rehabilitation North. Funding for the work authorization will come from FAA and DOTD Aviation, from which the council accepted $150,000 in initial funding on January 13, 2026. Charles Barsher.
So Michael Baker International, for the public that may not know, is our airport engineer. We signed a contract with them. It's called a master services agreement. Generally, that runs for 5 years. FAA requires us to resolicit master services agreement every 5 years. FAA also requires that when we ask Michael Baker to do work for us, we actually evaluate their fee. So every time they come in and do design work, every time they do construction phase work, we have another engineering firm provide an independent estimate of costs so we can compare Michael Baker's cost to the independent cost and make sure that we're not costing the city more money than we should. We did that in this case. They came in about $10,000, almost $14,000 under the independent fee adjustment, so we're asking the council to approve the contract for Michael Baker to do the construction phase work on this project.
All right. Anyone from the public on this line item? Anyone from the council? Pleasure to council.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Wells.
Aye.
Councilman Andrews.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilman Leon.
Aye.
Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Resolution number 9.
A resolution approving the city's holiday closing schedule for fiscal year 2026-2027. Charles.
We have the holiday closing schedule proposed up on the display there. It's basically the same as last year. Last year, we did have the state, if I think most will remember, the state actually awarded extra holidays for Christmas and New Year's. They could do that again. If they do, we'll come back to the council. But this is the current holiday closing schedule, very similar to previous schedules that the council has approved.
Anyone from the public have any questions on this item? Anyone from the council? I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilman Andrews.
Aye.
Councilman Wells.
Aye.
Councilman Leon. Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Resolution number 10.
A resolution to ratify and award bids received on 6/5/2026 for pedestrian bridges on North Cherry Street, project number 420-12629. Mitch Roniger.
Good evening. Mitchell Roniger, Spangler Engineering. I'm here to present the results of the bid opening for the pedestrian bridges, North Cherry Street project for the City of Hammond. That's project number 420-12629. The project will install 2 pedestrian bridges along North Cherry Street. It's between Crystal and East Dakota on the east side of North Cherry. The bids were opened Thursday, June 4th. We had 5 responsive bidders. Sage Construction was the lowest responsible bidder. Happy to say their bid was within budget, and I recommend awarding the pedestrian bridges project to Sage Construction.
Okay. Anyone have any questions on this item? Anyone from the council?
Yes, I do. Look, help me out. On this here project here, this is a state road, right?
Yes, sir.
And I heard Joe Thomas say this here. it's several people they reach out to when they're trying to do different projects. So by this being a state road, did you all reach out to the state to ask for any help on this here project?
No, sir, not with funding help. We did reach out to the state as far as getting permitting, since it is a state route over there.
Just a point of information.
Hold up. I'm talking to the engineer, Charles, please. And I'm saying this here because I heard Joe Thomas talking, and I just asked him a simple question, and he told me no. And by it being a state road, and I just wanted to know, can the state help out in it? I don't want the project to stop. I'm just asking a simple question. And you the engineer, right? And I just want to know.
You could ask the state for help, but the project would stop at that point. You'd be waiting 5 years for the project to get done for anything to
Okay.
get moved in from the state's end on that.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
The point of information I wanted to offer is I believe that section of North Cherry Street is now not a state road. I believe they donated that section of Cherry Street from roughly University through downtown Hammond to the city. I know they replaced the bridges a number of years ago, and that was part of the exchange to the city. So technically, it's 1065, which is a state highway, but that section of Cherry Street is actually now a city road.
Stops at the bridge, doesn't it?
I believe so, because it's not all the way up to University. It's somewhere in
Correct, yeah.
between.
Stops at the bridge.
Yeah, the train tracks and University.
Anyone else from the public? Anyone else from the council? I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Oh, yes, very excited about it. It's something that's been
Councilman
well needed. I'm sorry, Ms. Lisa, go ahead.
Councilman Leon? Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Council, before we move on, a quick housekeeping. As we were approving the vacation, the holiday schedule, I realized that Election Day was not included. It is a recognized state holiday, November 3rd, which is a Tuesday. And we have typically followed the state's holiday schedule. And again, just checking here, we are off All Saints Day, which is a Monday. It's November 2nd. Somehow, the Election Day holiday did not get put on. So if we wanted to, maybe at the council's pleasure, if we wanted to revisit this and amend this to include November 3rd.
Andre?
Yeah, you can have a motion to reconsider the holiday closing schedule, take that vote, and then if you want to add on the election,
Okay.
you can do that.
I make a motion to reconsider the holiday schedule for the city for 26-27.
Second.
And so this would be to add
Yeah.
Well,
November
we're gonna
3rd.
take a motion to reconsider, then we
Right.
take it.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Leon? Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Or we normally, the city normally closes on election day, whenever it falls?
We typically observe the state holiday closing schedule, so yes.
I was just wondering, I know we had 17 holidays already, so that would be 18. So I was just checking, because I'm sure the state probably don't have 17 holidays, but, so
They
that's
have-
that's what I was.
The state got more money than the city.
The state has 15 holidays.
That's what I was saying, yeah.
They don't, it looks like they're not recognizing the days after Christmas and New Year's this
Yeah,
year.
we probably have one of the most in the
Right.
country.
I make a motion to
Add election.
Add
day,
election.
November 3rd, 2026 to the list of city holidays.
What Andre said.
Second.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Did I say Divatario? I'm sorry. Councilman Leon? Aye. And Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Council reports, mayor's office.
As I mentioned earlier, Regional Planning Commission meeting today with the parish president. The board agreed to and considered, approved an amendment for the roundabout over on Industrial Road and all the drainage work that goes with it. $8.3 million will start in 2028. And then also our camps has started summer programs at the Recreation Center. We have 115 children in the camps. We also have a swim meet that started tonight. Had 100 meet swimmers in there, and the pool has been very successful, good start for the summer. And we'd like to thank First Guarantee Bank, who's been a partner with us for many years for the summer programs, donating $10,000 to the city. So thank you, First Guarantee Bank.
Thank you, Mayor. Any council reports?
Yeah, I got a couple. One, Mayor, I was checking on some drainage over there that Timberland sent an email about. Did you get those emails?
I did.
Okay, are you looking into that, or where we at with that?
Yeah, I want to look at it when it rains heavy again like that.
Okay.
See what's stopping it, where it's stopping.
Yeah, it seems like there must be some type of passageway that needs to be addressed, so I just want to make sure y'all were getting and taking a look at it. And then some intersections still that, I'm going to send them in again that need to be cleaned out for growth of vegetation throughout the city. And then also having some issues over there right now in off of Hardin Drive, by the railroad, the train tracks. It's just real trash and buggies, and just it's like the group of people that come through there and almost kind of set up shop in that area. And I think we really need to and maybe even look at possibly getting a camera or something like that in that area to try to monitor whatnot, to try to, we can go in there and clean it up, and before we clean it, a week later, it's worse than what it was. So we just got a real big problem right there that we have to, I think we also need a little more police presence right now over there, like maybe, some in the front, maybe like a car in the front for occasionally, and maybe in the back, just to kind of try to get that under control, because we got to do something. I think the camera will help, because I'm sure it's the same group that continues, and maybe we can monitor that a little bit. Ms. Golden, you here right now? Yeah. Do you want to speak a little bit about it right now? Okay.
We had our largest trash pickup in there a few years back. It was 110 bags in one day.
Yeah.
And like you said, it did.
We do. Every time I've called y'all and the inmates and everything else, they come in there and clean it up, and they do a good job, but then literally a week later. So it's something that we have to figure out a way to improve it a little bit. Ms. Golden, do you want to speak a little bit about the issues right there in that area?
Yes. Lois Golden Perkins from 2800 Anderson Street. We have an influx of homeless. I don't know if they're homeless, or it's just, it's a lot of traffic that's coming in the community, and they got buggies, but it seems like they doing all kind of other stuff with using the buggies as an alibi to do their transaction. It seems like that's what's going on. We have people that when we come in the community, we can have somebody lying on the side of the street where they can get ran over. So it's bad. And Mayor, we worked hard to bring that community up to standards, and it's going down really fast. We are constantly asking for security. We're afraid for the kids to go outside. It's just going down really bad. Like he said, I think a lot of trash, or I don't want to call it, they stuff trash, but they just throwing it out like trash. But I think a lot of stuff is coming from Goodwill, and they can just dump a whole lot of stuff in the road, and you can't get through there. The city has been good about coming to pick those things up when we report it, but they put it right back out. It could be, that evening, it's back out again. So it's kind of repetitious there, and it's an eyesore. And I know we stay in the beautiful city of Hammond, but if you all would ride in our community, it's not beautiful. It looked like Skid Row.
Yeah.
We on the road to Skid Row.
Yeah.
And a lot of residents that stay back there, that's not who we are.
Yeah.
We're working during the daytime, and they're polluting our, we have people coming from down the tracks with whatever they bringing into the community.
Yeah, it's not the people who live back there, it's the people who are coming through there,
Yes.
stopping and going, they're staying there.
They are.
And we just need to, we have to put a little more presence there right now, you know, and actually enforce something to maybe hopefully deter, you know, what's going on, because it's not getting any better, no matter how much y'all clean it up. It's like, almost like, feels like it's almost purposely doing it, like right as soon as they do it, you know. So at some point in time, you know, we really need to maybe get maybe a cop unit there, you know, occasionally on a regular whatnot in the front, just to kind of see, and maybe hopefully get a camera or something, get with IT to maybe get something posted up there to kind of see where it's coming from, because it's the same repetitive. It's probably the same group, I'd imagine, you know.
And we sometimes we look like we have more buggies in the community than
Than the shop, than the
stores.
The stores, yeah.
And, you know, what's the solution here? What can we do? What can be done? And I don't know, the police, we've watched them, we've rolled behind them after reporting something, and they just pass by and look. So it's
Yeah.
like,
It needs to be more than just a drive-through patrol. Just they need to sit there for a little while on the front entrance and deter it, and hopefully get some type of game plan over there to get it cleaned up. And then the buggies, I mean, that's just something we really need to look at as a city. I think Albertson started going towards, they shut the wheels off when they go so far. We may need to look at some of them buggies, making, you know, talking with the retail centers to possibly let them install that to where we don't have buggies all over the city, where, you know, that they have to, you know, it locks the wheels so they don't roll off into the city where we keep picking the same things up over and over and over.
I think one of y'all issues is, Ms. Golden, one of y'all problem is, because I got 2 workers I pick up over there every day, and the biggest problem y'all have is goodwill.
it is.
I'm talking about the problem is, if you can have, goodwill need to have a certain drop-off time. Everything they drop around that back door, and the problem is they filling those buggies up. And once they fill those buggies up, before the buggies go across the track, they realize they don't have nothing in the buggies worthwhile selling. And that's why those buggies are being on the street, because this morning I went through there and it had 2 buggies, and just the other day, Monday, you'd thought somebody was shopping over there. But goodwill is something that need to be looked into. Nobody need to drop off at goodwill unless a worker there. So that's the biggest problem. So I noticed that, because I got a lot of homeless people right in them woods on the left side of Mr. Seals' old trailer park. Got a lot of homeless people in there.
And I've told the police over before, there's a camera right there on the back side of Goodwill that they could probably give a Goodwill to monitor right there, because I mean, it's probably the same people coming in there grabbing the stuff and just throwing their buggies everywhere and all the trash. I mean, it looks right down Hard Drive, that camera on the back of the building. So I mean, I've told them to go maybe talk to them and kind of see if they can get some footage and see what's going on to address that. I mean, that could be addressed probably per Goodwill.
Well, what happens with Goodwill is they do have times when you're supposed to deliver, and if you notice, people that don't want their items will deliver on weekends when they're closed, dump it and go. And that's pretty much the standard over there. But I'm sure they do have cameras, if you're saying they do.
Yeah, right on the back of the building.
We can get a license plate,
Exactly.
because they did just pass a law for littering, if you want to call it that, there, even though their intent is to give folks goods that they may be able to use. But I think the new law is like, we can write tickets for $150. And I need to check with Edwin on that, but I'm pretty sure they just changed that law. Billy Nungesser was talking about it at one of his meetings. So,
Yeah, that would help the drop off, but I guess some of
if you see
the
someone
community, the groups
dropping,
that are,
throwing something out of a vehicle in your neighborhood, and you see that license plate, you can call it in, and they will get a ticket. And it's a hefty fine ticket.
Yeah, but
That's what Billy was talking about.
I kind of think it's beyond just clothing and
That-
selling clothing.
drug activities probably
It's a
in
lot,
there.
because sometimes we can tell by how the buckets are turned, or there are certain, they stage different things in the area. It's just obvious.
It just needs to be watched a little more.
It's a bunch of walking people.
Yeah.
It's not people in
With
vehicles.
cars, yeah.
It's the walking traffic.
And then they go in the
Going to
woods. Yeah.
garbage. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's it for you?
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Mayor, the shooting took place on 190. The citizens are talking about it. And I know we can't do nothing about it, but the patrol in District 3, we need more patrol in District 3, and I can say, and I do want to thank the police department, because I woke up 4:30 one morning, and I saw 2 police cars in the neighborhood, and I was happy to see that. And I would like to see more police present in the community, because that help control the crime. And we it's a lot of shooting going on in the community. And a lot of times, I don't be calling it in because at nighttime, I be scared to come out. So I'm not gonna sit here and say what direction is coming in, this and that, but I am concerned about the park. The water fountain in the park is not working. And we can't keep putting a Band-Aid on it. And I don't know if you all know the temperature outside. It was pretty hot today. I was outside. If we can't do nothing about that water fountain, and I think that's about $7,000 to $13,000 water fountain, and it maybe you probably got a good 15 days out the water fountain. And it makes a lot of sense to put a water fountain onto the bathroom. And I think it'll hold up a lot better than this $7,000 to $13,000 water fountain that we can't find parts to or whatever. So we do have an issue with that. The safety of the kids in the park, Mr. Andre, you spoke on it before. And yesterday, I had a grandparent call me yesterday that it's a lot of weed smoking in the park, and we're gonna have to do something. And I'm gonna say it again, and I want it to be on record. I'm not worried about them smoking in other parks. My concern is no smoking in Mooney Park. So we have to do something. Don't make sense to me to keep talking about it, and I don't see the signs that we need in the park saying no smoking. And I'm telling you, from vape to weed, should no grandmother have to deal with her grandson coming home smelling like weed. So we're gonna have to do something about it. I talked to Miss Desiree today, and they gambling on the basketball court. And so it's like, I don't know if they playing or they don't take the city serious. If they gambling on the basketball court, and I don't even know if that's a rule or not, but they shouldn't be gambling in the park, period. So we're gonna have to do something, and I can't keep coming up here and saying the same thing over and over again. And we have no rules in place, or we're not trying to implement nothing, or a lot of times, and I can't say this here, and I hope I'm lying, that the police need to write tickets and find these kids that's doing this to the park. And once you start finding them, and you can give them community service, 500 hours though, we got to do something. If not, it's gonna get out of control, and then now you got a whole park that you've been putting money into, they're gonna go to waste. I don't want to lose the foot traffic that's coming to the park. So we're gonna have to do something.
They don't care about that camera. They don't care about them cameras. We had a guy put his face right in the one in MLK and put his face in it and pulled it down. So they don't care. Yeah, they don't care.
And I just want to add, our IT department is checking the cameras every day, multiple times a day. We have 147, I think at last count, cameras throughout the city that the city's monitoring. Not all of those are city cameras. Some of those are cameras installed by subdivisions where they wanted us to have access for security purposes. But our guys come in every morning, check the cameras, reset the cameras, go check the cameras if they can't get them back online. So they're working.
Okay, now that you said that, every day they check the cameras in Mooney Park. Let me get an email or a text showing me that they collecting camera data from the cameras every day. Now that you said that, I don't mind getting an email.
I can ask them to send you an email when they check.
Oh, now no ax. We need to do it. Now no ax.
What do you want the email to say? That they've checked the cameras and the
Yeah, we looked at the
working,
camera,
or-
Councilman Wells, and this is what we saw last night.
Okay,
This is what we saw.
What IT is doing is checking to make sure the cameras are working. They're not, no one's reviewing the footage from the night before. If there's an incident, it gets reviewed.
Okay. They shot dice in the park yesterday. So let me see that on the camera where they were shooting dice.
They're shooting
at.
dice on the basketball court?
Yes, sir.
Yesterday.
Yes, sir.
Do you know about what time?
Charles, I ain't gonna lie, I need to be a security guard, but I cannot stay in the park all day. I promise you I can't.
Was it morning, afternoon, midday?
Man, I tell you, I'm gonna go to the park tomorrow. I think I'm gonna stay there 3 hours and I'll let you know.
Okay.
I can't tell you. We got cameras.
What's going on with the TV monitor for the Rangers to look at or over there in the rec center? I think we were talking about
Vic
that.
mentioned he was working on that. I don't know where
I think that's going to be a big deal there. I think we really need to get that up and running pretty quickly. Get it in there to where, they can look at it and they don't have to be there all the time. A cop don't have to be there all the time. To see a commotion, to see a group or something that looks kind of crazy, just call it in. Let them go look. Let them monitor over there. I mean, there's somebody always at that rec center working that can kind of glance at it occasionally.
Yeah. What's the time frame on the splash pad, the fence?
I got a partial update from Grants this morning, actually. There's some issue with the fence being on back order because of the color. I don't understand that. Kelly, our Grants director, reached out to the vendor to get some clarification on that. Her mother passed away recently, so she's been out, but she is following up on that. So as soon as I know more, Councilman, or she knows more, one of us will reach out to you with that information.
Okay, and then what's the update on the walking trail?
The walking trail, so we were planning to go out there tomorrow, but Kelly's going to be out, so I think we're looking at maybe Tuesday of next week. I'm going to be out Thursday, Friday, and Monday. But we're going to try to meet out there to talk about the picnic pavilions and the walking trail, where the picnic pavilions will be sitting and then where the walking trail is going to connect.
Okay, so when y'all meet up out there, please let me know, please.
Real quick, the lighting over there, those two lights, is one ordered, or I know the one's ordered, you said, over there in Villa West, Charles, but what about the other one that was, did you miss that one, or is that one's ordered at the same time, the replacement?
I need to confirm, but if the two poles went down around the same time, I'm thinking that they were both ordered.
I just want to confirm that, because I don't want it to be missed, since you said it takes that long. I mean, it'd be a long time.
Yeah,
for
and
all of them.
look, I don't know when those lights were originally installed. My guess is that they're not like an off-the-shelf thing. They're not
Yeah.
in stock somewhere, so they have to remanufacture
Yeah.
something that at least looks like the original light fixture.
Maybe we need to put 3 orders in, so we have a backup for the next one. So where we have it, they're all the
Backup
same. There's a ton of them. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have an extra one.
I'll follow up. I wasn't able to do that today. I did see your email, but
Yeah.
I'll try to get an answer for you
Okay.
tomorrow.
And then I did reach out to Miss Dory, and we talked about the trees on J.W. Davis. But the mayor and I, we talked about it tonight, that Robert Morgan this week gonna go out there and look at those tomorrow morning. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir, Mr. Danforth.
Good evening.
Good evening.
On Dangerfield. Wilbur Dangerfield Drive. I called the city the other day. They got a big hole in the sidewalk. They come out and put a barricade over the hole. Then I called the city about the trees and the bushes growed over the sidewalk. You gotta step into the road to go around the sidewalk. Well, they come cut the bushes. Next thing, when they coming off the bridge, they need a speed hump on Magazine Street. When they come off that bridge, they flying. Where they going? To the stop sign. It don't make no sense.
You talking about at the end of Wilbur Dangerfield right there, or you talking about? No, no, I'm trying to, I know it's two bridges right up in there, so I'm trying to figure out which one you're talking about.
Drive, they coming off that bridge and they flying.
Okay.
They only going to the stop sign, but they're doing 100 miles an hour.
Okay.
And I like to thank the police chief. I like to thank the mayor, because Wilbur Dangerfield Drive is going to the dogs too. I mean, it's going this way. But when I call the chief, he responds. And we getting sick and tired of the big old mess they got going on over there. No community should have all this foolishness going on. It's about time we do something about it. The only way we're going to do something about it is to speak up about it. Everybody got their mouth clam closed. It ain't the white people that's destroying our neighborhoods. It's us. That's what I come to say today. I thank y'all for listening.
Joyce Cox, Hammond, Louisiana. I'm so glad you mentioned about the park, and I believe that's God, if I could say. Because we're doing a summer camp at our church, and we brought the kids to Mooney for the splash, no splash. So we really want to check that out and get that done. So we went on over to Z Mary. But just want to feel safe in my hometown, you know. Just wanted to bring that up. It's just ironic that you mentioned that, because we drove the vans with like 11, 15 children prepared to go to Mooney. So we want Mooney to be everything it's supposed to be. Thank you. And thank you all so much for the speed bump, Charles.
Robert Williams was able to make it work. He told me he was able to squeeze it in there.
So much for everything you all do, and we are waiting, everybody, you know, not just Charles, I'm messing with him, but everybody, and we're waiting next for the sidewalk. God bless you.
On what street, the sidewalk?
Yes, 1100 block South Spruce.
Okay.
Awesome.
You have an announcement?
We put it off last year to do something on Crampazano that was
you have an
a sewer problem, so we put that off. So we need to, you know, if you are ready to bring it back, we're supposed to get it back in 2026, the sidewalk. And just wanted to bring that up to everybody's attention.
Yes, ma'am. We're
Thank
working
you
on the
all.
budget now.
Okay.
Don't you have not about a walk? Yeah.
I apologize. My name's Leon Maryland from Hammond. I don't know if I have to say it again. We're having the Jericho walk, a Jericho, I'm sorry, my phone is slow. A Jericho walk, prayer walk. It's also geared to stop the violence movement. It's going to be held on July 18th. Is it 18th?
Yeah, your phone be working. Your phone be working when you are sitting down. It works. Your phone
My
be
name
working
is
when you sitting down.
Wenda Andrews. We are asking the city to come out and support us, just like Mr. Dangerfield just said. There's so much going on in our city. It's not just our city. We're speaking and we're walking for the parish. What God has given me a vision to do a Jericho walk. If you know anything about the Bible, God gave Joshua certain instructions when things were starting to happen to possess the land that God had promised him. So what he did was he went around 7 days, but we're going down at Z-Mary Park and do it 7 times. So we're asking the community, we're asking our city to come out and help us support what's going on in Hammond, Louisiana. And we're gonna bring these strongholds because all we have is prayer. And God has commanded us to pray, pray, pray. Yes, we see what's going on. We're living in a new era. We see what's happening, the gun violence. We're trying to get our children back. We're trying to bring the fathers, put them back in their rightfully position where they need to be the head of the house. We're trying to help the mothers to see what is going on. How can we help? So we're asking all the churches, we're asking our city. I've been sitting there back there just watching and listening. I was born and raised here. And the things I see we're petty fighting over, it's crazy. A paint job. I mean, that's just my opinion, because you didn't ask for the opinion about a paint job. I think it's wonderful to increase our city to look nice and apart. We need it. But going back to the Jericho Walk, it's time for us to take a stand. It's time for us to take a stand to help our children to understand what do they need, how can we help them? Yeah, we know we got different programs set up and everything, but the Jericho Walk will be on July the 18th. We're asking that we're gonna set up at Leon. He's a part of the mission. Ms. Dee Dangerfield, she is also a part of the mission. I just talked to Sister Cox. I believe that she is gonna be on board to be a part of this, and we're asking the city to help us. We're waiting on, I've talked to the sheriff department. He's on board with it. Praise God. He's on board with it, So he's going to speak. The showers, they're going to be there. We're going to do a musical. We're going to have rap for the kids, just to give back and ask them and pray with them. Pray with these kids. If we don't do it, who will?
And where you walking from?
We're going to be walking around Z-Mary Park 7 times. And on the 7th lap, we're going to holler Jesus. And all these strongholds, all these things that we have to declare. And God has given us the power and the authority to declare things. And so it's up to us to do that, to get in our rightful place. So it will be from 7 to 9. We're going to set up, I heard you can't say vendors, because it's a free event. That's, by the way, it's free. So we're asking for donations. It's a free event. That's what the Lord told me to do. Let it be free. People to come on out. It's no color in Christ Jesus. We all the same. You bleed red, I bleed red. That's it. Point blank. We have to take a stand. So it's going to be from 7 to 9, we're going to be setting up. 9 to 10, we're going to be praying. 10 to 12, probably going to take us a lot of laps to go around Z-Mary. And we're trying to have things just for the elderly too, because a lot of elderly people say they want to come out. They can't really walk, so we're trying to get the golf carts, not four-wheelers, golf carts. Because see, God said we have to attract things. So I'm trying to get the slingshots of the motorcycle crew. That's going to attract the crowd. And the men, I'm trying to get the AKAs, the Deltas, the fraternities, the Masons, the what's the other guy?
Kappa Alpha Psi.
Them people.
Kappa Alpha Psi.
Yeah, all them.
Yeah.
And who is over Morris?
Mason. Kip Mason.
So that's this. I did talk to Morris and what's your brother-in-law name? Obi. So they on the board. We need more men. We need you guys. We need you guys to come on out. And I am concerned, Mayor. It's my first time meeting you. I serve in South Africa. So I've been gone, but I'm from Hammond, Louisiana. This is my hometown. I was bred and buttered here, right here. And thank you. And so I've been serving in South Africa almost 3 years, but I'm back. And I just thank God what he's doing in all our lives. Okay? So, and I am concerned about the shooting. I'm really concerned about the shooting. We haven't heard anything else. That was horrible, what happened to that lady. That was horrible. It's just too much going on in our city. And it's not just our city. Like I said, we're not representing one part of the city. We're representing the whole parish. God has shifted people way from Kentwood, A-Meat, that's a part of it. In New Orleans, they're coming just to walk this Jericho walk, because it's happening all over the world, and we have to pray. Amen?
Amen. Thank you. That's the give, now I'm the ask. Mr. Mayor, we're expecting several hundreds, if not thousands of people there. Can we get some help from the city, like with police presence or the fire department or something, to make sure that it is a safe event? Can we also get maybe a city tent, or it's just like, can we meet with someone from your administration to see what can you all, I mean, first, will you all help us, and what can we?
Have you guys completed a waiver request for the event? That's how you can request police presence, barricades, the tent, et cetera.
It'll be done tomorrow morning. Anything else that we should do?
Yeah, I mean, the waiver request is on the city's webpage. If you go to hammond.org/admin, scroll down, you'll see waiver request.
Okay.
And you can just put on there what the event is, how many people you're expecting, what you're asking the city to provide. Email that to Alma Mitchell, our administrative assistant, and then she'll get in front of the mayor, and we'll go from there.
All right, thank you guys so much. And also, if some of you guys could attend, that would go a long way. We want to have some type of gathering, Carly, Kip, Sam, Devon, Steve. We would love to have you guys there just to show, I mean, it's just what happened 2 weeks ago. I'm a father of 4 children, and I'm sure that affects you all the way. I mean, that could have been me, that could have been you, that could have been any of us. And how do I tell my son, who's 8 years old, hey, you know, how do you explain such a senseless act? And it's best that we all try to get together, not white people, black people, green people, whatever, but not Democrat, Republican, but we're all parents, or we're all children, you know. And Hammond has to be a family, and this is something that we can all come together on as a family to have a nonviolent movement, and we hope we can all do it together. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Council. Stanley Campbell. I'm going to be real brief. Today I come before you representing the NAACP, the Greater Tangipahoa Parish branch of the NAACP. On June the 20th, we're going to be hosting our second annual Advocacy and Image Award Gala. This is an event in which we have an opportunity to recognize individuals from our communities who've done great things in the community. So each year we choose about 9 people from across the parish, and we recognize them in front of their peers, parish leaders, and any type of leaders from our community. And we're welcoming you guys out, welcoming the community out on June the 20th at 6 o'clock. It's going to be at 140 Barone Street, which is J. Ruckers. And we welcome everybody to come out and support. It's a very diverse event, and it's normally well attended. And I would love to see my leaders represented. Last year, we had some of you guys in there. A lot of the council came. I'm welcoming the entire administration and the council, the chief. We've stuck out our hand to everybody. We want to see us represented here in Hammond.
Carl and Steve, y'all have any reports?
No.
I just have one thing. I'm trying to get a follow-up. If anybody can give me any information on the, I know somebody told me they were supposed to be taking this guy to court on Campo Street for those tall fences that he built on the street. I'm trying to figure out where we are in that process right there. Channing Garrett. You probably don't remember him, Charles, but he came here one time and almost got arrested. But
I don't remember
How
that.
about the fences on Range Road? Is that kind of like that tall?
got something, yeah, that he moved over that way, but now he done moved back into the neighborhood with that.
Oh, okay. What is that?
Huh?
What's going on over there?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
No, I mean, like, what is he doing with the fence like that? Does he have a business or something behind
No,
there?
he just built it.
Oh,
They don't want y'all to see it. Yeah. Right. So I'm trying to figure out.
They don't want you to see him.
I'm trying to figure out where we are, because the last thing that I was told is that they were going to be trying to take him into court. And I don't see why we wasting time taking him into court when it's against the city code to get it torn down. That's just
The mayor asked if you had talked to Larry or anyone in code enforcement. Have they been out there? Do we know? Larry's been out there? Okay.
where is it at?
It's on Campo Street.
I know, but I mean, where are they at in the process? I mean,
That's what I'm trying to.
Who would
see.
know?
Do you have an address, Councilman?
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, you'll see the fence.
Yeah.
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 We have that city code enforcement court, don't we?
Yeah, we
still
had
have
that problem a couple years ago, the same guy.
Same guy.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
same
also,
thing.
a high fence would be against the city code. It's also, if he presumably is not he didn't get a building permit for the fence.
None of that.
So, yeah, I mean, we can certainly have code enforcement go out there and somebody from the building department if necessary.
Yeah.
Well, I know that Brad Stevens, the city prosecutor, has been handling things with Mr. Garrett in city court, but I don't know of anything recent that's going on. But I know there's a history there for sure.
Starting it back up is what he had before, he's doing it again.
We just need to go back and resurrect it and get code enforcement out there, and we'll get Brad involved and get it done.
Send a police out there.
You're gonna need more. Yeah. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Meeting adjourned.